What's shaking, shitters? Welcome back to Nerd Shit in the Dark.
What is up, everyone?
Shittiest podcast on the internet.
On planet Earth.
On planet Galaxy Earth.
Close.
Atlantis. Where are you at with that?
Atlantis? Where am I at with Atlantis?
Do you believe in Atlantis?
No.
Do you think it's a cool idea, though?
Oh, definitely.
Do you think it's, like, possible, though? Like, the idea of it. Like it's not a magical place, but like a city under the water.
Yeah.
That's just down there.
Like an active city are we talking about? Or are we talking about like ruins?
Give me both. Either one?
I definitely think there's ruins of cities.
Sure.
Under the ocean.
Okay.
I don't think there's a civilization, unless it's aliens. I could believe aliens are running Atlantis.
So you think maybe aliens, they don't come from space, they come from under the water?
There are some theories, yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah. That there's an alien base at the bottom of the ocean.
Wouldn't that be something?
Wouldn't
I mean, we don't know a lot of the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to rebrand the podcast. I wanted to kind of deep dive into those.
You want to do a hard turn into conspiracies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In the
I think
dark.
it's time to morph into that.
I think so too. We
Yeah.
put out a number of episodes. We've stayed on task for a long time. We say that we talk all things nerd. Now, you and I, we usually stick to TV shows, movies, books, yada yada. But I mean, conspiracy theories is a level of it's its own nerd.
I think we're at the level of fame now that we can start chasing that algorithm. You know, conspiracies sell. People click on it. It's proven science.
Yeah. So why not talk
That
about
if you
it?
talk about it, people are gonna tune in.
I have a different shirt on today than I did yesterday, but the one I had on yesterday had Bigfoot on it. Where are you at with Bigfoot? Do you believe in Bigfoot? I believe in Bigfoot.
I think there was a Bigfoot like thing.
Sure, yeah.
At one point.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's possible. I mean, they found like old skeletons, like ancient, like talking like dinosaurs, like before human times of like big apes.
Bigfoot times.
Yeah, Gigantopithecus.
Everybody was a Bigfoot. You think it's all just that? You don't think there's one like currently possibly roaming somewhere
I feel like
on the
we
earth?
would have found them, you know?
You think so, dude? But they're always finding different
That's
things.
true. I guess they thought the same thing with the giant squid. They thought the giant squid was a made up thing
and
until
then
they
washed
actually
up on the fucking
yeah
land.
they found one. And
Yeah,
they're like, no, it's actually a real
Big
thing.
old squid.
Giant squids exist.
And I'm just saying, like, people always say, like, have you ever seen one? Do people ever see one? And I'm like, it's elusive. That's its whole thing. It's elusive.
Yeah, it's
that's
stealthy.
why we haven't found it.
Some people think Bigfoot's an alien.
My uncle actually thinks Bigfoot's an alien.
Yeah,
he gave me a whole
that's a
spiel.
common crossover in the conspiracy community.
Oh, we could dive deep into. I think we
There's
should
a whole
save
Ancient Aliens episode on it.
I think we should save.
Yeah.
And build to that. But yeah, my uncle told me a lot of shit. I'd love to have him on the show. Honestly.
Yeah, can we circle it back around to giant squids for a minute?
Absolutely, we can.
Did you know that they've found scars on blue whales of like suction cups? That like there's like a squid big enough to like take down
a blue whale.
or like at least injure a blue whale.
Give a blue whale a hug.
Yeah,
At least.
And blue whales are like the biggest known thing on Earth right now.
Next to my cock.
That's true.
Yeah. So I mean, impressive.
Right.
Very impressive. So
The Kraken exists is all I'm saying. I do believe in the Kraken.
One more conspiracy theory before we move on to the real meat and the potatoes of the show.
Yeah.
The Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, I used to be a big believer in Loch Ness Monster.
Used
yeah.
to.
I don't know.
Not anymore.
I don't know anymore.
There's a way in and out of the loch, like to the ocean.
Is
right?
there? I
Yep,
thought it was completely landlocked. So maybe at one point
I don't think at least.
there's
You
like
double
an
check
old.
me on that.
There's like a remnant of the plesiosaur or something.
I mean, I just feel like maybe it just roams that neck of the ocean and then it comes in and out of the Loch Ness.
Do you think
from
it's the
time to
same
time.
one, or do you think that it has like
No,
babies?
I think it's a species. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's like a
So you think we would find more, or maybe that was like one of the last remnants?
maybe. I don't know. It's like Bigfoot though. It's elusive.
True.
So,
yeah. You think that the Loch Ness Monster's purposely hiding?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's just really good at it.
I think it could.
I think all things that we haven't found have potential to be just really good at hiding.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me though.
We know that there used to be really weird species on planet Earth before, so like megalodon.
Sure, yeah. So why
Big shark.
Why wouldn't it be able to exist still now?
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying, Brady Nielsen. That's all I'm saying.
Chazy.
That all you got?
That's all I got. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, but with all that out of this outside, how you been?
I've been pretty good. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, I heard you replaced me
I didn't replace you.
No, you didn't replace me.
I told you I was getting something.
No, you did.
You were busy.
No, I was very busy because I've been trying.
I told the shitters why. Yeah,
I've been trying to find a new apartment. We've been applying to certain apartments, and so we were kind of preoccupied with that. Preoccupied with moving my job down. So yeah, it's just been a busy couple of weeks for me. Had my birthday recently, so I'm currently 28 years old. And yeah, besides that, life's been moving. We've been in a big transitional period. We have our eyes set on this one apartment that is pretty nice and within our price range.
Yeah. So hopefully
we get that.
Hopefully by the next time we're recording, you are in an apartment somewhere. So cool. Swell dandy.
Yeah. How have you been?
I've been good.
Yeah.
It's been a long month. But yeah, I've been good for the most part.
Yeah, your son's getting bigger.
He's getting bigger. He's
as they
practically walking almost by now.
About a month.
Cute, yeah, probably.
Bigger since I last saw him.
That's the thing too with my life. That's really all I got on updates is like my kid has done this, but like I'm not doing much. It's too hot to go outside. And most of what I'm going to talk about,
muggy.
Muggy as fucky.
Yeah. God. It's not the heat. It's the humidity.
It's the humidity. Yeah, you can see it in everybody's hair all the time.
Yep.
Fuck.
Frizz Central Station
Square. New nerd shit. Tell me.
New nerd shit. You want me to jump into it? I
do want you to, because you missed last episode. You got to make up.
That's true. It is my turn to fill in the shitters.
Crack them nuggles.
Yeah, so I have a few new nerd shits that I'm excited to tell you about. I'll let you choose. Do you want me to start with my video game, my TV show, or my movie?
What are you most excited to talk about? What's the big one to you?
The TV show, I would say.
And then the video game, and then the movie?
Oh, yeah, I don't know if I'd rank them like that, but...
Do the video game, then.
All right.
Go ahead.
So I've been replaying Death Stranding, which I believe I did talk about this on, like, a very early podcast. Years ago. I'm not even sure if it's... You might have lived
in North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it's up. So I'm going to talk about it again.
On this computer, and that's it.
Yeah, because I've been reacquainted with this story. There's a lot about the story I forgot before.
Tell me about it. What's it about?
So it's a Hideo Kojima game.
Oh, Hideo Kojima.
Hideo Kojima.
Bit of a tongue twister there.
Sure is. Yeah, so it's a Hideo Kojima game.
Yeah.
Kojima. Starring Norman Reedus as the main character.
Right.
Character.
It's I remember talking about this. It's the follow-up. It's what Daryl Dixon gets down to after The Walking Dead.
Yes. Except not really.
Really, though.
It's set in the future, so it's possible. But his name is Sam Porter. In this. So it is literally him, like, motion capped for this character. So you're just playing as Norman Reedus the whole time.
Daryl Dixon.
So that's pretty cool. And it's a post-apocalyptic mailman simulator, almost, like, with a story to it. A very weird story. But it's called Death Stranding because this extinction level event known as the Death Stranding happened to humanity, where basically the world of the dead and the world of the living started to get mixed up. And so,
like The Walking Dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It has, like, dead themes. Yeah, where, like, these
Daryl's in it.
Yeah, souls from what they call the beach, which is like the afterlife, show up into our world, and most people can't see them, but basically if they come in contact with humans and they, like, get intertangled, it causes, like, a void out event where it, like, is basically just like a huge explosion. And so, like, these things start showing up everywhere. And along with that, these storms start to happen where rain or snow comes down, and instead of it just being like regular substances, it's called time fall, because whatever it hits ages whatever it hits. So, like, humans get aged immediately and die if, like, they get caught in a storm.
Okay.
And it ages any materials or matter it comes into contact with.
But when they die, do they come back from the dead?
Yeah.
Like The Walking Dead?
As like a soul, kind of.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
But they're, like, stranded.
Nice story.
Yeah, it's like Death Stranding.
They're Death Stranding.
Yeah. They're called beached things is what...
Beached things.
Or BTs.
Like the Like the big squid, like the giant squid.
Yeah, there are like beach giant squid sometimes because you get to go to the beach at certain times. Because
like on vacation.
Yeah, the main character Sam Porter, played by Norman Reedus, Daryl, is he's a dooms user. He has this condition called dooms that allows him to sense the beached things, and so he can like navigate around them.
That's why he's the mailman.
That's why he's the mailman.
With a dead baby.
Sort of. We'll get to
fetus.
him.
Okay.
Yeah, he does have a fetus with him.
Norman Fetus.
Norman Fetus.
I'm sure that joke's been made.
It might be the first time.
Hard to say.
You heard it here first. But yeah, so he can like detect the beach things. And so since most of humanity is like gone into these shelters or like gone underground, he like has to transport things back and forth between the settlements. And so, like, you're basically just a mailman, but there's a story that goes along with it of you trying to, like, tie all of, like, the different shelters onto the same grid because they can, like, do something called the chiral network that comes through from the beach that basically allows them to, like, communicate with anyone at any time as long as, like, they're all connected to this network. And so, like... it's about kind of like connecting humanity back together after this apocalyptic event. And like you do that through like the mail, basically.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's a decently long story, but I've gotten through pretty much to the end.
Mm-hmm. This is your second playthrough of it.
Yeah, it's my second playthrough.
Isn't there a second one? Or it's coming out? Death Stranding 2?
I think so, yeah. I haven't looked too much into it though, but I've just been re-enjoying the story the second time around because there's a lot of things I didn't understand about it because it gets really in depth.
It sounds pretty in depth. The premise in general is pretty in depth.
Yeah, but it's been pretty fun.
Do you fight things? Do you kill things?
Yes, you do get into
You're a
fights.
mailman with like weapons.
Yeah, there are like bandits and stuff that try and like take shit from you, and then like if you run into beached things and like get caught up in them, they like try and drag you to the other realm, and you have to fight like this weird other dimensional sea animal.
Very ocean themed.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like the afterlife.
Well, I've seen like the outfit he wears. It does kind of look like a diver suit sort of.
Yeah, he has to wear special clothes so like the time fall doesn't age him as he walks past. Cause
no, you don't want it to age him.
Yeah. And it's like an extra obstacle you have to avoid because it can like age your shit that you're transporting and like destroy them, and then you don't get anything for it.
Well, that sucks.
It's a lot of strategy too. It can be pretty challenging.
It has good reviews. I've seen things about it. I think it was on sale. It's one of like when the Steam Deck was first getting introduced. It was one of the games they like showed in the ads that you could play on the Steam Deck was Death Stranding.
Yeah, and it is a very story-driven game, so there are a lot of cutscenes, and sometimes it does get to the point where it's like, let me play the game because
I can't wait to tell you about the one game I've been playing.
Yeah, it would be like watching a movie for a little bit of the time and like not actually delivering mail, which is what you're there for, you know. It's where you get the satisfaction.
Have you ever played the game Paperboy or Paperboy 2 on the Super Nintendo?
No, but I know Paperboy is a character on Atlanta.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Atlanta, the TV show?
Yeah, it's the rapper's name.
Oh.
Paperboy.
Well,
it's a video game?
It's a video game for the Super Nintendo.
Is this your video game?
No. I just think this kind of made me think of it. It's a really fun game. You should play it sometime. It might be on the Switch like online thing. It's just this game. You're a paperboy. You're on a bike and you ride down the road and you deliver papers. Like you aim for people's mailboxes or like their yards.
Oh yeah.
And it's really fun because you can also like hit people with the papers and hit animals, and like dogs will chase after you.
Yeah.
You gotta keep trying to hit them with them. A monster shows up at one point. It's a really in depth. You go through like levels of delivering the paper, and it gets nuts.
It does sound similar to the concept of it. It's just like mailman delivery, but on hard mode because you have to fight things on your way.
Yeah. Just gotta fight things on paper
and protect the stuff that you're delivering.
Yeah, it sounds cool. I have wanted to check it out, but
yeah.
I mean, that's the thing with those Hideo Kojima games is like they do put like movies of cutscenes into all of his games are very story driven. So there's so many cutscenes, and it's like, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I just want to play a video game right now.
Yeah, there's like one cutscene that was like, I swear, 10 minutes long.
No, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I'd probably have to skip. That's what I would do. And then
you can skip.
Tell myself like maybe when I have more time, I'll go on YouTube and watch the rest of that scene.
Yeah, because I mean, there is a lot of like the story's interesting. It does get kind of convoluted in certain ways, but like it's very much a game that you can just like the base game is fun enough that like you don't really have to know what's going on in the story to like have fun with it. I didn't really pay too much attention to certain aspects of it.
How much time do you have to sink into this game to play through the whole thing? Minus cutscenes. They're long.
It's like 50 or 60 hours.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a long game.
Yeah. To get to the end.
Yeah. You recommend it?
I recommend it, yeah.
Maybe I'll check it out. I've seen all the original 11 seasons of The Walking Dead. I didn't watch the Daryl Dixon show, but I should be caught up enough to know what's going on when it like ties into that.
Yeah, I've been seeing that Daryl Dixon show advertised.
Yeah, and I heard it's not bad.
Yeah.
And it must lead into Death Stranding.
I haven't heard anything about it, so.
Well, not a lot of people watch it. Like those shows in general anymore. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do, but like nobody I talk to really. So.
Enough for them to keep going for a while.
For maybe ever, who knows? The Walking Dead has become a twist on itself because the show itself is The Walking fucking Dead.
It really is. It's just a big meta project. I
still like it. This is not a bash on The Walking Dead, but big lifelong meta project. Cool. Well, both the things I have to talk about today are video games, so I will start with the one that I'm not super far into because I feel like the other one is kind of my main because I've really put a lot of time into it. But I recently purchased and have been playing through that Black Myth Wukong game that came out last week.
I've been seeing a ton of stuff about that.
I got it for my PlayStation, and I don't have a lot of time to sit and play it like with my Switch where I can play literally anywhere, but my PlayStation I kind of gotta. But I've used my Portal a lot, so this game has kind of inspired me to start pumping time into my Portal because I really want to play it.
Yeah.
It's a fun little fucking game. I'm sure you've heard about it. It came out like a week ago. Yeah, it's not little.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big game. But
it looked big.
It's awesome. And I've been following it since probably around the PS5 announcement. Like they first showed footage for it, and I was stoked because it's based on the Chinese myth Journey to the West. With Wukong. So I was like, oh, this looks like the concept was already cool to me.
It's what Goku's based off of, right?
So, and like I've heard like bits, I've seen anime. I watch a lot of anime. A lot of anime is influenced by this story. Seeing it done in a cool video game kind of way, I was really interested in it. And it looks super pretty. It was one of the first games through previews that you were like, oh wow, the PS5 is gonna have some damn good looking video games on it.
Right.
And it finally came out. And I mean, for me personally, it's living up to everything I want it to be. Like, I don't know if it's everybody's cup of tea, but it's mine.
It's like a Dark Souls type game, right?
Hear me out. I said to my one friend this morning, it's like Dark Souls meets modern God of War games, but more modern God of War with just all the elements of Dark Souls games that I actually like. Like, there's a lot of I like Dark Souls games, but only for Dark Souls games. But every game anymore has to be like when you die, you lose everything. You gotta start over at the beginning and do it all over again. And if you don't get back to your body, you lose all your shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that. It's hard, and if you die, you go back to the start of wherever your last save thing is. But you don't lose any of your shit. You have all your experience.
That's
you just
nice.
can die and go back to trying.
That is one of the tedious parts of those kind of games.
So fucking stupidly tedious.
I get turned off from.
Oh, me too, dude. Every fucking game is a Souls-like or a roguelike or a roguelite, and I'm just like, ugh, why is every one of these games I just want to play and keep going.
Yeah.
Even if I die. And I die a fuck ton in this game.
I heard it's a hard game.
It is a hard game. So it starts that's the thing. When I went in with the mentality of Dark Souls, in Dark Souls, everything is hard to kill.
Yeah.
The fodder characters, especially at the beginning of the game, they're tough, but you can win against those pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's the bosses, and there's bosses fucking left and right. There's main story bosses, but there's also just side little bosses that are also challenging. I mean, I'm not super far into the game. I'm into the second chapter, and I've probably fought 10, 11, 12, maybe 13, what I'd consider bosses.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're fucking hard as shit, dude. And there's a lot of strategy. There's different fighting styles. You use the D-pad to change what type of fighting stance with your staff you want to have. And there's a skill tree that you build on all of those. Mm-hmm. A lot of it's skill tree based, kind of like in God of War. So you're upping your stamina, upping your health, you're upping your abilities. There's a lot to use.
And that all
on.
saves. So
and that all saves. Yeah. Even if you die, you don't lose your money system. You don't lose anything. If you die, you just get to come back and try again.
What would you say your highest amount of deaths have been to one boss?
Wow, that's a good question. I
just so I can gauge the hardness.
I try to. I can adapt decently quick. Like if I see I'm still losing, I'll go, because you level up to get those points. You level up, so like I'll go and like level my guy up if I'm really having a trouble, so I won't sit there and waste my whole day dying left and right.
Right.
I'd say against probably my toughest, I'd say like maybe 15 deaths to this one boss.
So that's not bad.
Tops. But each of these fights though, if you're really trying, they're decently sized. So 15 deaths is like, I tried really fucking hard, fought for a while, and still lost all these times.
Yeah, and I'm bad at those types of games, so I can get up to like 30 deaths sometimes before I figure it out.
Sure. A lot of it's just like leveling up, changing your system. You have like spells, so you have like the staff that's most of like your attack, and you have light and strong attacks, kind of like Dark Souls, kind of like God of War.
Yeah, I've been seeing it compared to
God of War. But there's also like
too.
You have magic, so you have different spell. Like you have a freeze ability. So
it's like a shapeshifter, right?
You can change one of your things is shapeshifting. I just got this shadow clone jutsu type of thing.
Turn into a worm.
Different monkeys. You can turn into a lot of things. There's an attack,
but not a worm.
Maybe a worm. It depends. Like you kill certain little bosses, and you get like there's transformations, but there's also just like quick transform attacks.
Yeah.
So probably a worm is one of like the quick. I could see that. I haven't fought a big worm yet, but I wouldn't be surprised with everything
I would want to
else.
be a small worm.
Those are quick past. I've only gotten one like transformation so far that like holds, and you have like a period.
You can just like do it anytime.
You can
or does it spend mana?
It doesn't spend mana to transform, but there is a cooldown. So once you use it, you have to wait for it to build back up, and it does take a while. But that's like in most boss fights, because you'll get once you transform, you get all of the transformed person's health back, and then you can like die as that transformed thing, and you don't lose your own health. So it's a big just like if I'm about to win a fight, but it looks like I'm gonna die, transform real quick and try to keep kicking ass. And that's really cool. You can freeze your enemy. There's one that like turns you into stone real quick, so if they hit that, it doesn't affect you.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's one where you like turn into like nothingness and like do like a flash step type of thing toward the bad guy and hit him. The battle system, the combat system
sounds pretty fun.
It's intense and it's very fast paced. Like with Dark Souls, it's kind of slow.
I imagine it's thing
you're
you
a
have
monkey,
to like learn.
so it's just like
you have to learn the timing of your enemies.
Yes, very much so. And there's like a dodge, and if you do a perfect dodge, it does like it's also like a flash step. It's super cool. Like the sound effects, just like ooh, I like.
It makes you feel like a badass, like God of War does when you're tanking.
Especially when you're kicking ass, you're like, here we fucking go. I'll show it maybe a little later. I have my portal here, and
I'd be interested to see some gameplay because I've been seeing a lot of articles about it, just how it's it's like. I mean, almost broken the record for
it got like 10 million.
It got close for like most Steam plays,
something like that. I was pretty impressed with that.
I know a lot. I know this game's very big in China.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet. Yeah, and it was just good to see a game that I'd been following for so long come out. People love it. Everybody's playing it. I'm having such a good time with it. I wish I had more time to play it, but I'm also like, dude, I'm only so far. And every time I beat a boss that's like impossibly hard, I just go to the next boss. And they're even more impossibly hard.
Yeah.
Like, and it kind of like...
Can you feel yourself getting better,
You feel yourself getting better, but you also feel the bosses get a little better.
Yeah.
Because, like, the boss fights in the start are hard, but now I'm at a point where, like, okay, right at the start of the fight, the bosses are hard to fight, but at some point during their health, like, almost being done, they get even fucking harder. So you have to get better. Like, even though you've used... Because you have a certain amount of health, and you have a certain, like, gourd that keeps your... Just like with Dark Souls, you heal, but, like, it slowly goes down. Yeah. And the only way to refill that is to, like, rest. So in a boss fight, you have only so many heals before you die.
Right.
But you also have perks. Like there's things that items you can use that like up your defense, up your attack. There's a lot. You make medicines that like do this. It's the UI is really good. I'm a big fan of it. Yeah. And it's very like sometimes I'll just bash like a dodge button because video games have taught me like hit it as many times so it works. But like this game, it works every time. So sometimes I'll be dodging too much.
That's one of the things I always struggle with those types of games. If there's like a dodge or a block, I'll typically dodge every time, even though there are times I need to learn how to block.
I don't think there is a block in it. I think you just have to be able to dodge out of the way.
Yeah,
I think like if people shoot you with arrows, you can do like a spin thing that's like a block. But I think if you did that at a boss, it would just fucking slap you.
Yeah.
And the designs, oh my God, like I said, it's a beautiful game. All the main like big bosses, like there's this one big fucking wolf that you fight, this like white snow wolf. The way the hair moves, like they put so much hard work in the engine of the graphics and the look of this game. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous, fun, the story, I'm even like kind of following it. Like, you know, with most Dark Souls games and Elden Ring, like there's a story there, but
it just doesn't really matter.
So over the top. This one kind of threads the needle with that a bit, but maybe not threads the needle. It treads the line
because it's based off of an actual story,
right? Yeah. So it's a little easier to follow. It seems pretty fun. I mean, the story is like you start as like the original Monkey King, and you fight against the gods, and like you and the gods like die or something at the beginning, and then your Wukong is the reincarnation of that monkey, and now he's going to
become the Monkey King.
Gods. Yeah, become the Monkey King. So
it's cool.
It is pretty cool. And the villains, they're cool because they know they killed you, so when you come back, they're just like, he's back! The monkey is back! Kill the monkey! I'm just like, man, we've come so far with just like in-game AI villain.
Yeah, immersion.
Yes. I would say if you get the chance, check it out. I've heard it's like 40 hours. Nas has been playing.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, like 40 or 50 hours. I don't have as much time to fill into that. And I just feel like mine will go up because like I am dying all the time, man. All the fucking time. I'm stuck on this fucking Wind Rat King boss thing that's just kicking my ass.
Yeah, I would be like that.
But I'm ready to roll again. My God, there's this guy that like you fought in this little like water near the end of the first level. And he's the guy that probably killed me the most. He's the boss that killed me the most. And man, he'd shoot like these little wind waves at you. And he was driving me
Water
nuts.
levels,
I just could not kill him. But finally I did. And that's the thing. When you finally do win, it's very
rewarding.
Cathartic. Yeah. And you're ready to move on. And you know you're ready to move on.
And you know you're better
again.
this time.
You're better this time, but you're going to meet somebody that's going to kick your ass. Though I did get to the final boss of Chapter 1. He's this big fucking bear monster thing, and I beat him on my first try. So I was like,
I was going to ask that too, if there's ever been that where like...
Very few times.
You've just been able to match them right away?
Like twice.
Right.
Yeah. And that water guy, I thought was one of them, but then he has a second form. And he was the first boss that had a second form, so I was like, fuck. I used all my heals fighting his first form.
And then I assume most bosses after that have second forms.
No, I haven't really ran into it.
I think
I've only ran into it one time again. And like not as important of a boss.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. There was one like secret boss that I found and fought and killed. And he had this ability that like once he got halfway down, he could summon these like zombie things at him that he absorbed and regained all his health. I was like, fuck.
I hate when they summon enemies.
You can go and hit them so they don't get to him in time, but there's so many that you can't get them all.
Well, it's annoying having to fight little guys when you're trying to focus on
this big guy that when every time he hits you, you're almost dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's smart to like build up. I've been building up a lot on like stamina, health, defensive points. Yeah. I'll go back and forth, and you upgrade your armor. You upgrade every time you beat a boss. You get like a fur pellet or something, or fur pelt, so that you can make new armor, make new shit to get better. Yeah, there's an upgrading system. I'm trying to hit everything in this as much as I can, but I feel like there is a lot.
Oh, you've painted a pretty picture.
Good. The game itself is a pretty picture.
That's what it sounds like.
There's a lot of monkey noises. That's the thing going into the game.
Does he talk or does he make monkey noises?
So like the Monkey King at the beginning speaks, but when you're Wukong, I haven't heard him like say words. He's a very quiet protagonist.
Monkey a few words.
And when you're fighting, he's constantly like monkey noises. Yeah.
Do you think that's a voice actor doing them, or do you think they used actual monkey noises?
I think it's the same voice actor they did that spoke for the Monkey King at the beginning of the game, which I was a little confused by, because all the look, it looked like he would have like this deep voice, but he's just like, the monkey. And I was like,
but monkeys are silly, so I'm
glad the actual main one doesn't talk too much.
Yeah.
But it'd be fine if he did. You can. I don't know what the Japanese version's like. You can change it to like Japanese, Chinese. Look at these. But I keep it in English. So
I would too, so I can understand what's going on.
Yeah, it helps. I'm sure there'd be subtitles. Subtitleanos.
Yeah.
So that's one that I just wanted to kind of paint the picture of. It's one I've been kind of dicking around with the past since it came out. I'm having a good time. It's good to be playing my PlayStation again. I feel like it hasn't got a lot of love lately, so especially my Portal.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'd be interested for you to show me.
I will. It does. The internet here, my mom's is fucking dog shit, so it doesn't stream super nicely, but like you still get the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
That's my first thing, and I think I really do only have two. So I'll let you go with your next thing.
All right. Do you think I should talk about the show? Okay, I'll save it for last. So
you got a movie.
Oh, I guess this is a good segue from what you were talking about with Black Myth Wukong.
Wukong.
Wukong?
Wukong.
Wukong? Mm-hmm. Wukong.
Wukong.
So Black Myth Wukong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wukong.
Wukong.
Yeah.
So the movie we watched was actually probably a month ago at this point. It was not shortly. It was a while ago now. Was the new Planet of the Apes movie.
Hoo-ha!
Hoo-ha, yeah.
What? Like the newest one, the one that just came out.
Yeah.
The one that me and Miranda got tickets to see and bailed on.
Yeah.
Nice.
The one with Ciri from The Witcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good.
It is pretty
I kind
good.
of kicked myself in the butt for leaving the movie theater that night instead of just staying and watching.
It was a really good movie. I would have been interested to see it in theaters. I'm sad I didn't.
Yeah.
But I saw it streaming on Hulu, which I think it's still on there. Hulu has all the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I'd imagine it is. I mean, it just came out, so it's probably going to be on there for a while.
Yeah, so it's set 200 years
after like the last
after the Andy Serkis one.
Right.
So Andy Serkis is an entirely new cast of characters.
Right.
And it's kind of like showing the progression of the Planet of the Apes because it's a sequel series, but it's disconnected from the.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer because like some of the monkeys are finding like traces of what the world used to be like before the monkeys came in. Yeah,
like the main character's tribe of apes that he lives in, they live near a ruin of, I think it was like San Diego or.
I think you're right. I think that's where the James Franco one takes place in.
Yeah. So like there's still like buildings that are overgrown with moss and vines and stuff, and like they use them to climb up, and like the opening scene is really cool because you get to see their culture where they're on an egg hunt, where their tribe of apes likes to steal or take falcon eggs from like nests really high up that were made in these ruins. And then they will raise those eggs, those falcon chicks, and like be like falconers. And so they're like very bonded with birds.
Oh,
like
interesting.
So it's like
it's an element that I didn't get from like trailers.
Yeah, so like it's just like showing like how these ape societies are evolving and like what their cultures are like and how it's cool because it's like similar to us, but like in their own ape ways of like, you know, being able to climb shit and being more in tune with nature. But it also goes into like how there's different ape factions now, and obviously the apes have like spread out and bred a lot more, and they've forgotten like a lot of the things from the past of like what got them here. And the humans are like the original humans from the original Planet of the Apes, where they're like mute and supposedly like can't talk, like they're like wild animals basically.
Yeah, there are humans still in this world.
Yes, but the apes view them as like animals, basically, like we used to view apes basically.
Right.
And so they like avoid humans, like his tribe, but like he doesn't see them as a threat. He just sees them as like grazers, like they just roam in herds basically. But yeah, there is, surprise surprise, a bad ape faction out there, and so
saw it. Yeah.
Action ensues from there.
I mean, the apes that's how they took over. They were bad apes.
Yeah.
Bad apes.
Yeah, and it goes into like how Caesar, like Andy Serkis's character, has like his name has developed into a religion.
Sure, yeah.
From like the remnants of the apes that he left behind.
Yeah.
So like there's apes that are like a part of this religious order of like the Order of Caesar. And they try to like spread his word and his original message, but then there's like other apes that take Caesar's word and like manipulate it into a religion of their own to like control.
So like real
apes.
life.
Yeah, basically how religions develop. So like there's apes twisting the word of Caesar and saying that it means that we can conquer our neighbors and like make slaves out of them and take over the world basically.
I guess I wouldn't even know. I've only seen the first one, so I don't know what the word of Caesar. I don't know where Caesar really stood in the taking over of the planet. I feel like no matter what, it's not good.
He wanted peaceful coexistence with the humans, and just for the apes to basically live in the jungle by themselves, like separated. And he didn't really care about the humans as long as they left him alone. But like obviously the humans didn't leave him alone, so there's war. But
yeah, that final movie's called War of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah.
But like humans are no longer a threat, except for there are a few humans that still have regular human intelligence, and that's where
Ciri shows up.
Ciri shows up because what makes the humans like that is the virus that wiped out most of humanity, the simian flu, from the original trilogy. It makes them like mute and have like lower intelligence, basically.
Yeah.
But some humans weren't affected by
I think they do show that in the first one.
Yeah, some humans weren't affected by the virus, so they can still speak and
get a job
and
that
do
cruel
things.
World.
Yeah,
Cool, like programmer for them.
yeah. But it's the whole movie's entirely from the main character's perspective. I forget his name. It's been so long. But the main ape's perspective.
Wukong.
I like him. He's a good main character. He's different from
Seems nice in the trailers.
He's a nice
Like
guy.
a humble little monkey.
Very humble.
Gorilla, ape.
And what's interesting about him is that he is not a good fighter, but he still wins fights using like his cleverness. Like he's very smart. And so he will be overpowered by like any regular ape, but he does figure out ways to like beat enemies that are a lot stronger than him because he's smarter than them, and he can like trick them into like he's taken the whole clever ape thing to a new level, where like he can easily, or not easily, but he can win against a gorilla.
Sure. Which are kind of main enemies of his, gorillas.
There's a gorilla.
Yeah.
That is part of one of the like conqueror apes.
Okay.
Men. His tribe is mostly
A lot of monkey fighting.
Chimpanzees.
A lot of like battle scenes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They have like a little war.
Yeah, there's like I said, there's a lot of
Civil War.
Yeah, there's a lot of fights. Like he manages to, he gets his ass kicked a lot of the time, but he can like figure out how to outsmart them.
His name is Noah.
Noah
is the main guy. Yes,
You didn't know what his name was.
I did not know what his name was.
Would you say this is a movie that people could like? For instance, when Miranda and I got put in the movie theater to see it, we were both like, well, I haven't seen the last two. Could you just jump into it?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you like a brief exposition of what Caesar was before, but besides that, you don't need to know anything about the previous trilogy.
That's
it's an
always
entirely
fun.
new.
I'd like to watch those other
story.
movies. I've heard they're really good,
Yeah,
but it'd be nice to not have. If me and Miranda would have stuck it out and watched the movie that day, we wouldn't have been confused.
yeah, it's an entirely new story. Like I said, it's 200 years removed from the originals, as the modern originals.
Yeah. Huh.
And so, yeah, it's just seeing how these ape societies develop. They're in like the Bronze Age, I believe,
Okay.
technology-wise in this. So it's like in a few more 100 years, they're going to be,
Making fucking iPhones.
yeah. We were making iPhones in the year 600.
Yeah. Why do you think we're up to the iPhone 13 Pro, 15 Pro Max? What do you think, man?
It's true.
Think they just put out a new phone every year? Get with it, Braden. So, overall good movie? Does it end? Does it seem like it's fuck? Do you think it's gonna go into like more?
I think they set it up for more. I don't know if they're making more at this current time. I think they had plans for 3 movies, but I don't know if this one actually did that well in the box office.
I think it did.
Did it?
I think it did. I think I heard nothing but like positive things about it.
I heard good reviews. I don't know if it actually
nothing
made
like
a
crazy.
lot of money,
It didn't
though.
make like $1 billion, but I think it.
Yeah.
Let's Google that.
I don't
Let's
think
see
it was
what
like a
the,
huge success in terms of like probably what they spent on it.
Because I feel like I heard a lot about it. Rise of the Planet. No,
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
I should have said that was the name of the movie earlier.
And what's the word I'm looking for? Box office.
Box office, yeah. Was it a box office success or a box office bomb? Or did it just break even?
It finished its theatrical run with a total of $394.7 million, which isn't a lot. It is a lot of money, but
How much did they spend on it?
this total is split fairly evenly between domestic and international, blah, 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 blah. Give me 1 second. All this dumb AI answers on YouTube.
I know, I hate the AI.
Google makes me want to fucking kill somebody.
Why is everyone doing
The budget
AI
was
now?
$160 million. So, and they made almost $400 million. Factor in maybe like $50 million of marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably
it made
they
money.
doubled.
Yeah.
They doubled.
It made
it's
money.
not a ridiculous amount. And honestly, I don't know what that is in like Planet of the Apes standards. Like let's go a step back and see like what did the last one make.
I definitely think they should make another one. I don't know if it didn't like, they
War
need
for
everything
the
to
Planet
crack
of
a
the
billion
Apes
now.
almost made $500 million. So it made less than the last one, but that was one coming off 4 story-driven movies. Like, that's the finale of a 4-movie saga. It made almost 500. This one, that's kind of like it's starting a new thing, made only 100 million less. I don't know. I don't think that's too bad for them.
If it's
other movies make more money though, for sure.
I think they should make another one.
I hope they make another one.
Yeah. I think
they're
the second
definitely
one
going to make another one.
I think the second one could do better.
They've been coming out with Planet of the Apes movies for fucking
I think they needed to
ever.
reintroduce people to like this new story, and not everyone was going to be interested in that, especially because Andy Serkis isn't involved in it anymore.
Sure, yeah.
Because I think he, especially after the first movie, he's what really brought in a lot of people.
Yeah. It was one of the movies all summer that I heard a lot of buzz about. We almost saw it because it was the day we thought we were going to see Furiosa, and the theater person was like, that doesn't come out till next week. And we were like, fuck. And we just bought a ticket to Planet of the Apes, and then we were like, can we just go home? And we did. Yeah. Because it was like, this is the movie we came here to see.
Yeah.
We could just go home.
You're just too disappointed to enjoy
another movie.
Well,
it was like, I looked at the runtime, I was like, fuck, it's like 2.5 hours long.
It is long, yeah.
Did I want to commit 2.5 hours to a movie that I wasn't sure I wanted to see?
It is long.
I do want to watch it, though.
It is long, and I don't know if it needed to be that long, but I still liked it. Some good characters.
Yeah. Hey, that's what's important.
Yeah.
Does anybody, don't know spoilers, but like, anybody die?
Yeah,
Any
people
big
die.
deaths?
There was one death I was pretty surprised.
Oh, wow.
For.
I love a surprise death.
I thought it was going to be like he died, but he didn't actually die kind of death in a movie, you know?
Yeah.
But then he never showed up again. And so I was like, oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. But
it's on Hulu, so you can just...
Out of 10 shits, what do you scale on that?
I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a good, solid first entry for a second trilogy of what they're doing now. Just keeping the franchise going.
Why not?
Getting all that money they can from that.
It's been going on forever. Like, the first movie came out in, like, I think the 70s or 80s. So, like...
It's like Doctor Who at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but a lot less of it.
And they keep rewriting the lore every time.
No, they might as well. Well, honestly, going into that, like, the ads for the movie, the trailers, I was like... A lot of the trailers made it look like... they were just doing the original Planet of the Apes movie again.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, it's a human coming in to the already established planet. Like, we just went full circle. We watched it all happen, and now we're doing it again. So that's why I wasn't sure if, like, the humans grew up on that planet, or if, like in the original one, they came from, like, space and, like, time traveled to it. So I wasn't, not there yet, but there's potential for that.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. I want to watch all of them. At one point or earlier this summer, I wanted to watch all of them.
Even the old ones?
Not even the old ones. The new 4, James
okay.
Franco one, which I've seen the James Franco one.
Because you can watch all of them on Hulu.
I'm sure I could, but I don't want to watch all of them.
Yeah, some of the old ones are bad.
I don't want to watch the old ones.
I watched one of the old ones.
I've seen the first one, yeah. When I was a kid. I don't want to watch it now. Hate to sound like old movies don't look good, but some of them, they don't. And I don't want to watch them, so... That is what it is. Cool. Oh, so that's your movie. I'm so excited to hear about your TV show. That it's your main thing you want to talk about.
Yeah.
I kind of got to sit up, though, if I'm going to talk about this next thing of mine, because
let's hear it.
I put a lot of time into it, so I feel like I want to talk as much as I can, but not too much.
Right.
So I
We
recently...
have friends to get back to.
We do have friends.
We have football to watch.
Friends to get back. We do have football to watch. That's the cool shit. In the light, we're the nerds in the dark down here in the basement. So, I had wrapped up Fire Emblem. I talked about that in the last episode,
right?
With Caden, and I was like immediately done with that. I wanted to jump into another game. I couldn't make a decision. I have all these games on my Switch. I'm just like, what should I play? What should I play? What should I play? And I stumble upon, because some games I just buy and they just sit on my Switch until I'm like, let's play it. I looked. I saw. I had Octopath Traveler. Have you heard or played Octopath Traveler?
Octopath Traveler?
Octopath Traveler.
No.
Yeah. It's a pretty popular JRPG that came out, I think, in like 2017, and I've been sitting on it forever. And finally, I was like...
You've never played it before?
I played the opening of it when I first bought it, and that was like a year ago, and just kind of set it aside for a while. So I was like, I should try to get back. I was feeling like... Because I had just got done playing a tactical RPG. I was like, I kind of want to play like a turn-based RPG again. And this one, I've wanted to play it for a while. I started it. Let's go. I played this game, dude. And I'm not even completely done with it yet. Like, so you can pick between one of 8 characters as your main character. That's why it's called Octopath Traveler.
Oh.
So the idea is...
I figured an 8 would come in somewhere.
Right. So there's 8 main characters. all with different stories, and you pick one, and throughout the game you meet the rest, and you can play through all 8 of their storylines.
So you can start with any one.
You can start with anyone and get all of them and play through all of them.
Do you see all their storylines?
The one you pick from the start, he can't be taken from your party. Like you have a 4-person party.
Yeah.
So you got to move them out, but he has to stay in, like the one you pick, he or she.
Or they.
Go ahead. What were you asking though before that?
I don't remember.
Okay. So, you can play through all of their storylines, and as long as you have them in your party when you get to their certain towns, because there's this open map, and you're just going like area to area, town to town to complete each of their chapters. Each character has 4 chapters for their story. So there's 8 people, 4 chapters, a storyline.
A lot of math.
And how I would do it was, I'd play one person's chapter 1, and then I'd go through and do everybody's chapter 1. And then once I finished everybody's chapter 1, I'd go through and do everybody's chapter 2. You don't have to do it like that. You can bounce around whenever. There's a level, like it's like chapter 4, level recommendation 30, or level 4 is level recommendation 45. So it tells you like, this is how strong you want you and some of your party to be if you're going to do this character's chapter.
Okay, so there's reasons for you to do them in a certain order.
Yes. And it's like there's reasons why you might want to do everybody's, because it's a good way to level everybody up. It's a very grindy type of game.
So you can't do one person the whole way through, but like if you got to like chapter 3 but your party wasn't strong enough, like you'd have to go and do the other
You might or you can just battle things in the wild. Like you can grind. There's like caves and shit you can go into where there's like mini bosses, and like you go around, you collect treasure. Like I should talk about the look of this game. The look of the game's pretty cool. It's like a 2D, 3D JRPG kind of mix setup. So it's played like, I'm trying to think, have you ever played like Dragon Quest or old Dragon Quest, like Super Nintendo? It's like that, but with like a 3D perspective. Like the graphics are upgraded. You can go like behind buildings. A lot of it's like the placement of mountains. Like there's like it's like Paper Mario. Think like that Paper Mario style, but not like paper. 3D, 2D kind of mix. So it's really pretty. It's a really pretty like overworld walking system. Yeah, like that 16-bit kind of high definition 16-bit though that you kind of see with games these days when they try to give it that old style of RPG look. It really reminds me of if you've ever played Final Fantasy like 6, like those Super Nintendo Final Fantasies. It's like that, but with battle mechanics that are a little more modernized and a little more fast-paced, and even though those old Final Fantasies play pretty nice. So that's fun. Every character has a very distinct personality or a distinct like trait. Like there's archers, there's
it's like the turn-based, like there's a lot of strategy.
There is a lot of strategy. So typically a character has like 1 or 2 weapons that they can have. Like I started with this guy called Ulbrich. Now his base weapons he could have was a sword weapon or a spear weapon. So you'd equip swords and spear weapons, and that have different stats, yada yada yada. And then I picked up Primrose, who had like dagger abilities, and I think she just had daggers when I first got her. So everybody has different kinds. There's swords, spears, daggers, axes, and then different types of magic: fire, wind, lightning.
I'm assuming
dark.
Those all are good for different kinds of enemies.
All good for different. Everybody has different stats, so you have to kind of move your party around if you want to use those.
How many can you have in your party?
4.
That makes sense.
And there's also a job system too, though. So once you get so far in the game,
go to work.
You pick up a job system where you can then start getting like, you'll pick up like the warrior's job. So you can give a different character who doesn't, like, say I had Primrose, she only had daggers.
Everything.
But if I give her the warrior job, she then can have like a sword and a spear as well.
Okay.
So you can kind of upgrade and you level up that way.
It's like their classes.
It's like a class system, and you can give people like bonus classes. That becomes very helpful because you sometimes want certain characters to have different weapons if you can. Like, it's pretty convenient because like there's clerics who have just staffs, and it's like the staff doesn't do, even the best staffs don't do a lot of like physical damage. So you want to be able to be like, hey, maybe this person can also use an axe too from time to time. And like when you get into battles, there's usually like 3, 4, 5 like villains that you face, and they all have like a counter, like it has like a 3 by it, and then there's like what their weaknesses are, and you slowly figure out everybody's weaknesses. But if you hit them, like say they have a sword and a dagger in that weaknesses thing, if you hit them with a sword or a dagger, that 3 goes down to a 2, down to a 1, and then they're staggered.
So are you out of luck if you didn't bring the right people?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and like not entirely.
Can you still hurt them if you don't have
You
the right
can't hurt
type?
them as much. Like if you hit them with the weakness, like and like everything has quite a bit of HP. Like when I started this game, I was like, wow, I can't believe how long it's taken me to get through just like basic fights. But the more you go on, it does get a little more challenging, a little more strategic. So you don't care how long it's taking. You're just having a fun time doing it.
Right.
Like in their names, like their name will either be white, yellow, or red, telling you like how close you are to killing them. So you have that going on. So the idea is
you can't
like,
actually see their HP.
you don't see their HP. You see how much damage you're doing. Like it'll be like 326 with that attack, but you don't really know what that means.
Yeah, meaningless. Yeah.
It's all meaningless until you see it in the red and you kill them. But yeah, and like the battles are always very different. Like you're always running into new enemies who like you don't have their weaknesses, because the only way to find out their weaknesses is if you hit them with it. And the game's like, okay, you figured it out. That's one of their weaknesses. One of the characters,
Kind of like Persona.
he has an ability that like if you use it, you can see like he can reveal one of their weaknesses, and if you charge it up, it can reveal like 3 or 4 of their weaknesses.
Yeah.
So that's cool because there's battle points. There's like mana, health, and battle points. And battle points are kind of cool because you can like charge up your attacks. So say somebody has like a 3 and they're weak to swords. Typically, like when I started the game, I didn't know about the battle points. So I was just one hit. You know, everybody was doing one hits of everything.
Yeah. There's always that one mechanic that you forget about that actually makes it way easier.
Oh yeah, way easier and way quicker. So like, but every time a turn goes by, you get another battle point.
Oh,
so if you don't use them up, you earn another one.
Yeah.
So you can sync them up and then like hit like 5 sword attacks or 5 axe attacks in a row. And you're gonna want that sometimes,
right?
Because some villains like, they have a big like 10. You got to hit them like 10 times with their weakness to stagger them. Most of the bosses are like that. And if you don't stagger the bosses, they'll fuck you up, man. Right. They'll fuck. This
you don't want them to
this
attack.
game is challengingly hard too. Like especially when you get to I was playing through one of the characters' endings today, and I just had to stop because I was like, I can't beat this boss. I'm sinking a lot of time into this.
Can you just?
I'm on everybody's final mission.
Can you just leave it and go to a different one?
Yeah, there's fast travel. So, like, once you hit all the areas, you can just travel to them. Even if you're in the middle of, like, a dungeon, you can just be like, fast travel the fuck out of here. So, I'm probably going to skip hers. I did beat the guy I started's story, and I have about 48 hours into this game, and there's still 7 other people who I have to do the last chapter of. So that's going to be challenging.
Right.
But I'm glad I at least got to finish one person's story the whole way through.
You technically finished the game, at least with your main character.
I mean, I got credits. Credits rolled, you know. I plan on going through everybody's, but like, fuck is it? It's just, I'm already 48 hours into this game. It's probably going to take a lot more to finish it. Very big time sink. Like, I felt these hours at a certain point. I've been playing it for a whole month. I really like it. But where I feel it, and this is something that you made me think of when you were talking about the cutscenes. Now, it's an old style RPG, so it's a lot of reading the text. Right. And like sometimes it voices it. Sometimes it voices it.
That's when it's just like reading the text. I skip a lot.
It's so well done. Like the story is, everybody's specific story is actually so well done and really cool, and like it is fun, but there's so fucking much, dude. They take so much time, especially when you're just trying to click through it.
Right.
And like there's actions, they're trying to make the text
you're just
be
like fast reading it,
skimming. Oh my god, just pounding. But they're so fucking, like, I'm telling you, I saw that the playtime was around 60 hours, and I'm thinking to myself, a lot of the game, it's mostly just talking, and you can skip it, but I don't. At the same time, I'm like, should I skip
it? It's mostly just reading.
I'll be so good. But then they start talking, and you're like, well, now it's taking even longer because they're talking. So I skip through that. So I try my best to read it because the stories are so well done, and it brings up a lot of like cool and fun themes with each specific character and what they're going
clearly
to.
Had a few writers on this.
I think the whole time I'm playing the game, I'm thinking, because like when you're doing somebody's specific story, the party sort of just disappears in the cutscenes. It's like it's just that character. Your party's there, but they're not in the cutscenes or anything because they didn't design it that way. But the whole time I was playing it, I was like, this could make for a hell of a good like anime series where like a team of people get together and like complete their specific, because everybody's on like this quest for a very like good reason. No, but I just mean, I think it would work well as like an anime or a TV series.
Because it sounds like one.
Because it sounds like they put a lot of work in it.
General story arc.
I don't want to read it. Dude. No. Like, there's a lot of times I'm just playing and I just get mad and skip because I'm like, I just want to fight. I just want to play the fucking game. So that's my only gripe with it, though. Other than that, it's been a hell of a fun RPG.
Yeah. That's one of my difficulties with skipping the Death Stranding dialogue because the cutscenes are so long, but it's all voice acted and it's all genuinely well done.
Yeah.
But it's just like I'm just sitting there watching a movie.
Right, you just want to play sometimes.
Yes. And sometimes it's just like multiple message. Like you'll go through a cutscene and then you'll start and then like your character will stop because you'll get a message and you'll have to hear another person talking and like.
Dude, this one will go into like flashbacks and shit. Like it'll be like a lot of dialogue. Whew, go to a flashback, watch a flashback of dialogue, whew, back to the original cutscene. I'm just like, I'm just gonna fight this guy. So can we just get to fighting this fucking guy?
You gotta get the backstory.
So like, yeah, every time you go start a chapter, like you go into a chapter knowing full well you're about to read a lot of text before you get to actually playing the game again.
Right.
Each town is unique. There's so many towns. Everything's unique. They all have like inns that you can stay at to like heal yourself. You don't ever actually go into a lot of like the stores and stuff. It just activates the stores. Some houses you can go in and fuck around with, but like it's one of those games where like you go in, there's a potion store, you buy like different potions, different mana boosters.
You sleep by the beds.
Yeah. And then, yeah, you can sleep in you rest and that's how you heal. Yeah. You can go to the store.
Some food.
Every store has different like weapons that you can buy at different towns. So like, and especially as you're going farther in the game, the weapons are better. They're expensive. And they're, specific to every different class. And even on the overworld, the different classes are kind of fun. Like there's a thief character. So if you use him, you can go up to people like on the streets and steal them. It shows you the percentage
steal
of like
the people?
Well, steal their stuff. Sorry. Steal the things. It shows you what they have and what you can steal. I got some of my best items and weapons just going up to people and stealing. Just
robbery.
Yes, all over the place. So the thief character, I didn't use him a lot. I made somebody, their job was thief, so then I didn't have to use the main thief character. Like, I do like him, but like, I would put him in my party, and every time I got into a new town, I'd just rob everybody and take all their shit.
That's how you do it?
It was cool. And like, if you play as Ulbrich, the character I picked, certain people you can challenge. You can just get into like one-on-one fights with people.
Just kill them?
You don't kill them. You do beat them and get experience. Like it's a duel. You challenge them to like a duel because his whole backstory was like he used to like be in this old army that's gone now that he like protected the king. Whole story that I'm not gonna get into. I'm gonna feel like the characters in that game. But yeah, the hunter can like talk to animals and shit. Like because there's a hunter class, there's a cleric class, there's a apothecary class, a lot of different classes for each of these specific characters, and they can not only do different things in battles, but do different things to people in the overworld that I think is really fun.
Just terrorize them, sounds like.
Yes, and there's a fuck ton. Here's another thing.
Crimes.
I'm so far into this game. There's a fuck ton of side quests. I've done none of them. So I can't even imagine the more I'd have to say about it if I had done all of them.
Sounds
all
like
the
a
side
good way to
quests.
get experience.
Probably. Yeah, probably. And sometimes I just stumble into random caves. Like I fought like this side boss that was pretty fucking hard too, but we beat it in the first try, so that was so nice. It's a really involved JRPG style game. Great story, great challenge, makes you think in the fighting. Certain characters can boost your effects. You want to do that a lot.
Yeah.
Boost your attack and sometimes lower your enemy's defense. Poison people. There's an apothecary. He can
heal people.
Now I'm just rambling, but I want to say as much as I can about it because I spent the entire last month, basically, since the last time we saw each other, after I got done with Fire Emblem, playing Octopath Traveler.
Wow.
And
I thought it was about an octopus.
No, look into it. I think it's a game you would actually like enjoy, especially with a different class system. I mean, certainly there's a character for you. I feel like you'd like playing as the thief character.
Probably.
Therion is his name.
Or the hunter character.
Yeah, she's cool too.
You know me.
Yeah, you probably would. And she can summon like animals too. She can capture animals. Like her ability is she can like capture the things you fight and then use them, and they have different abilities. Like everybody's fighting system is really super fucking cool. And you have, like I said, you have manas because you have like special attacks and spell attacks that take up like mana points. So you want to stock up on the items that heal your mana points because fuck. Really fun game.
Sounds really fun.
Yeah, I love when people
You're playing on your
on my Switch.
On your Switch, yeah.
I think it's on a lot of things, but I have it on my Switch.
Yeah, that's where I probably get it
There's
from.
a second one that came out like a year or two ago. I'm probably going to take a lot of time off after I finish this one because I've put so much time into it. But I'm an Octopath Traveler fan, I'd say.
Yeah, you said it. You mentioned it was a big time sink.
It was a big time, and I'm not even done. You know what I mean? Like
right.
I've been playing it for over 3 weeks, a lot, almost 50 hours, and I finished 1 out of the 8 character stories.
Yeah, that sounds like I could get burnt out from it.
You probably could. And for me, I don't know if it's a game that, like, if I put down for a while, I could come back and, like, remember how to play it as well as I used to.
Right.
It's a little easier because it's an RPG and you can read what each character does again.
And
but
I'm
like,
assuming they level up, so they're already better.
yeah, they're already at their. Most of my characters, I try to get to like the recommended level before. That's what's cool about the end, because everybody's final level says 45, and all my characters are past 45. So I'm like, let's just roll through some people.
Right.
I'm excited to finish it, but I felt like I played enough of it to at least talk about it here today.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
3 weeks, I would say, is plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really all I need to say about it on here. If anything else pops up, I will probably shout it out randomly. But I'm ready to hear you tell me about your movie or your TV show, Brayden.
Okay. So I believe this was one of the shows that
Kelly says I'm going to be surprised.
I think you'll be surprised.
Wow.
If I remember correctly, if you telling me this was one of the series you used to watch way back when.
Huh. Go on. I watched a lot of series way back when.
Yeah, I think should I give you a clue?
Is it Paperboy 2?
I'm hoping this is the correct series.
I hope so too. Otherwise, it's going to be a big letdown.
Yeah.
Give me a clue. Sure, give me a clue.
Gavin DeGraw.
You're watching One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't wanna be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. How far are you into One Tree Hill?
We are a little over halfway through season 1.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're really early days. Okay. Okay. What do you think of Dan Scott?
Dan Scott. I fucking hate Dan
Yeah,
Scott.
I bet you do. I bet
hate
you
him
do
so
hate
badly.
him. Yeah. Oh.
He's a manipulative.
You've seen it all.
Up to season 5.
Yeah.
Up to season 5. Okay. So
Kaylee you binge watched it during the pandemic, right?
Oh,
yeah,
nice,
yeah,
nice.
up to season 5. So
Yeah.
so she's further
What
ahead
about
than
Keith
I am.
Scott? You like Keith Scott, though.
I do like Keith
Keith
Scott.
Scott's the man.
Although
Keith Scott's the man.
We did this get to the episode where he almost killed his nephew from drinking and driving.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I went back and watched One Tree Hill again. It's been years now, but because I watched it when it came out,
Right.
and it was on. But I did a rewatch a little later into my 20s, and man, what a funny series! Like
It's
when you really
very
think,
funny.
like they're all in high school, but it
Yeah.
is so fucking serious.
It's so
man.
dramatic.
So dramatic. It's a juicy WB into CW aged.
Yeah,
drama.
It's a teen soap opera.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
But it's good. I'm digging it.
It is good.
Kaylee
It's-
can see me getting more and more into it.
Oh, it's hard not to. Dude, if you're already into it in the first, it gets pretty wild in the later seasons.
It's already getting pretty wild.
Yeah, but it gets even
Main
more
character
wild.
almost dying in a car accident.
How about main characters actually dying? Huh?
Yeah.
That's going to be crazy. Wait till you get to that kind of shit.
I hear Pete Wentz shows up at one point.
Pete Wentz does show up. He goes on like a getaway with them.
Yeah, he's like a main character.
He's a main character in like 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't wait because the episode before the Pete Wentz episode is one of the most popular favorite episodes, sad episode of One Tree Hill. It's a good one. But I won't spoil that.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead. Explain to the shitters about One Tree Hill. But they're hearing that we know quite a bit about it.
One Tree Hill was a show back in the early 2000s, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, that stars Chad Michael Murray.
Correcto mundo.
And what's the other kid's
As
name?
Lucas Scott.
As Lucas Scott. Chad Michael Murray is the main character as Lucas Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas Scott is a bastard.
That he is.
Yeah.
He's the Jon Snow of One Tree Hill.
It's kind of his whole
the town.
deal is that he has this dad out there called Dan Scott, who we hate we hate him. But Dan Scott,
You hate him now.
I know they're going to try and redeem him at some point, and like he's a complete irredeemable asshole, at least in season 1.
If you already think he's completely irredeemable, wait till it gets a little later on. He gets even worsely irredeemable. Go on.
But then they still try to redeem him every once in a while.
Oh, they do redeem him. No spoilers. Like, it's up to you as a person, like, if you actually think they redeem him, but in the show, he
has an arc.
considered redeemed.
No
spoilers.
I have yet to see the arc, but I'm sure that they're going to lead towards it.
It's
in
near
some
the
season.
end.
Yeah,
It's later.
He needs to be in it. The show, I know, goes on for a long time, and it's 22 episodes a season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's back in the day
And
when
it's
it was hour-long episodes for 22.
Hour-long episodes, 22 episodes in one season. So we're on episode 15, I believe, 15 or 16.
Yeah.
So over halfway.
Now, I can't remember what the first season, remind me. Is it the entire story of the first season, or does it wrap up pretty quick within a few, like, episode arc of, like, Lucas and Nathan kind of hate each other?
Yeah.
But they become, like, have they become boys yet, or are they still, like, is still a rivalry?
They're getting there. They're still...
Okay.
It's cooling off.
It's cooling off.
It's cooled
okay.
off
I couldn't
a lot.
remember if they took the whole season to get them to be in, because, like, eventually they become, like, fucking boys.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess basically the starting premise of the series, Lucas Scott is the bastard son of Dan Scott, who is this hulking brute that was very good at basketball when he was in high school and never got over it. And he knocked up his high school girlfriend and basically abandoned her and went off to college and, like, ditched her, like, didn't even sign the birth certificate to play basketball. And while he was in college, several months later, knocked up another woman and ended up staying with her and marrying her.
Yes.
And so
Nathan's dad, or Nathan's mom.
yeah, Lucas Scott is the first pregnancy to his mother, Karen, who was the high school girlfriend. And then there is Nathan Scott, who is the younger brother by a few months, half brother, to this woman that the dad met in college and married.
Yes.
And they're not even, like, about a year apart, not even a year apart.
I think they're the same grade.
They're in the same
They're
grade.
in the same grade.
They're close enough in age to be the same grade. So it was, like, immediately after.
And that grade is?
Juniors? Sophomores?
I think they're
Seniors?
sophomores. Or are they juniors? They might be juniors. Still, they're 16-year-olds played by people almost in their 30s.
Yep.
That's another thing that really sells the show when you go back to it now. Like,
His actors was actually 18.
oh, really? Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
He was like a big one then, too, because he fits with, like, the adults that he's on TV with.
Yeah, Kaylee just said Nathan was 18. Yeah, Haley, the one best friend, is like 26, I think, her actress. Or
Yeah.
no, she was like close to 30, wasn't she? She was like 28 or 29.
They were all in their 20s at least. Yeah,
Chad Michael Murray was in his early 20s.
They're
like,
adult people playing 15 or 16-year-olds.
Yes.
Typical for the time.
right.
When I watched it as a kid, I was like, yeah, that's probably what... They were
Especially
older than
with
me, so I was like, whatever, that's what high schoolers look
Especially with
like.
some of the things they get up to, I don't want them to be portrayed by actual 16-year-olds.
Sure, yeah, because they do a lot of adult type of things.
Sexual
Dude,
thing, yeah.
High school basketball is fucking hardcore in there. It's basically adult basketball on One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is that Nathan, he's kind of like the basketball star of, like, the school team, just like his dad, Dan.
Right.
But Chad Michael Murray, Luke, he plays on, like, the streets.
Yeah, he's kind of like the
It's real
outcast bad
rags to
boy.
riches, yeah.
All the women fall in love with him, like, seemingly immediately.
And he's a nice guy.
He's a nice
I
guy.
love Lucas.
Sometimes.
He's not perfect. He's a 16-year-old boy.
Yeah, they still
He's
make
still learning life.
They still make stupid decisions all the time, but, like, you can forgive it because you don't want to forgive it because you're seeing adults just making very stupid decisions, and then you have to remember that the characters' ages are 16 years old, and
Right.
then you remember, oh yeah, it's 16-year-olds are like that sometimes.
It makes sense, yeah.
Maybe not all the time,
But, like,
to
it's
a certain
acceptable.
extent.
It's acceptable for a 16-year-old to make
well
those stupid
within
decisions.
range, I would say.
Sure. And it's one of those shows where it starts with, like, a Chad Michael Murray narration, and it always ends with an emotional narration to whatever was on, like, the top 40 hits of the time on the radio kind of song episodes.
There's a lot of
But they're good. They're so, I mean, I don't know if they hold up to me now, but, like, I remember always feeling those in the moment. He always gives, like, a deep... It's like the end of a Scrubs episode,
right?
But presented through the mind of a 16-year-old instead of a.
It's a message,
adult.
you know.
Yeah, it's message.
Driving home the themes.
Yeah, and I like it. I always liked it. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's not a comedy, but there's funny aspects about it.
It's not a comedy, but there's definitely I've laughed a lot.
Yeah.
Especially at sometimes scenes that aren't supposed to be funny.
Sure.
But I just laugh because of how, like, dramatic it is.
Sure. Oh,
It
you
can
have to do that
You
now.
can get over the top sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
Like when-
sometimes,
like
the
when,
whole thing is so over the top.
Like when they're going to pick up his mother from the airport because his mother, Karen, Chad Michael Murray's mother, Lucas Scott's mother, has to disappear for a good chunk of season 1 because the actress was pregnant at the time, and so she, like, goes off to cooking school, and so they have to, like, write arcs around there.
Yeah.
The arc they wrote for her coming back was that on the way to the hospital, Keith and Lucas get T-boned,
All right.
and I just thought it was a little silly.
Sure.
It was just
a little
out of
too much.
It was just out of nowhere.
Like, we need to stop these guys.
It's been pretty tapes, like so far. Like it's gotten a little bit more dramatic here and there. Like at one point, the one characters think their dad is dead because he's like on an oil rig in a hurricane. And,
sure.
Dramatic situations happen all the time.
It gets a lot better of making those dramatic feelings really hit instead of laughing as it goes on as a show.
Yeah, and there were some dramatic moments that still hit for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like seeing especially when like new characters interact that you haven't seen interact much before.
I mean, everybody's new in season 1 practically. Yeah. And you're just kind of you're learning the basic characteristics of these characters and slowly getting deeper. Because like Brooke could kind of come off as like a bitchy whore.
Crazy.
But the more you get to know her character, you're like, okay, they are all likable.
Yeah,
to an extent.
Yeah, it turned me around because she was like a sexual terrorist in the beginning, and then it turned around. Like, I was halfway through season 1 and made me feel bad for her.
I was in love with her when I was a kid. She was like I definitely had a crush on her.
A heartthrob.
Sophia Bush, yeah. Especially when you're like a middle school, high school kid watching this show, it's like,
yeah, we know who she was appealing to.
Yeah. But there's more to her than that, though, too, as there is with every character. What do you think of Keith? Talk about Keith Scott.
Keith Scott.
He's a heartthrob.
He is a heartthrob.
For like a 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
Kind of like yours truly.
DILF energy, even though he's...
Dude, totally.
Totally.
That's probably the first time I thought somebody had DILF energy.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was.
Even my mother, who like has not watched many episodes, but like will catch like the ends of ones that we're watching.
Yeah.
Would be just like, oh, did Karen end up with Keith? Yeah, I like them together. And like
so your mom doesn't know about the series.
She doesn't know much of what's going on, but she like knows the general relationship outlines of like they like that this character likes that character.
I mean, he basically he's practically the fill-in dad for Lucas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the surrogate dad because Dan completely abandoned Lucas and doesn't even acknowledge that he's his son.
Yeah. So his brother, Dan's brother Keith, kind of becomes Lucas's pseudo dad. And
yes.
Great guy. Great relationship. They never ruin it. I'll say that much.
Yeah, except for when Kaylee mentioned how this was ridiculous, like him getting blamed for drinking a beer like 3 hours before he drove.
Oh yeah.
Like there's like, you were driving drunk. It's like
adults are saying this to him.
Yeah, like an adult man drank a beer 3 hours ago, and they're blaming it on that. Like it's because he made an illegal left turn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a piece from its time too. It's high drama in 2000 and like. I
think they were really trying to drive home how bad drunk driving was, but they didn't want to make it be like too like.
But they still drank.
Like criminal negligence drunk driving to be like, we don't like this character anymore.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
So they're like, oh, he had one beer and that's going to be what he gets blamed for. So we can drag out him getting together
Remember,
with Karen
it is a season 1 of a WB/CW show.
Oh, yeah. And that's why I can tell that like
reeks of it.
They like to take their time getting the characters that they're clearly telegraphing to get together. Because like Lucas dates Brooke.
Oh, yeah. That first season he's going to, he wants Peyton, but he dates Brooke, Peyton. There's a lot of relationship shit back and forth.
Love this dude.
There's a whole thing with Nathan and Haley going on and happening because Haley's Lucas's best friend. Now we're just saying people's names to people that have no idea, but I know.
I wanted to gap about it though with you because I knew it was one of your favorite shows.
I can't wait to hear you get farther into it.
Yeah,
I followed it pretty like there's a point, I think it's like season 6 or 7 where Chad Michael Murray leaves the show. And that's around when I stopped watching it. But they do complete a lot of everybody's, because there's like a time gap into their adulthood at like season 4 or some shit.
Yeah, because they can't stay in high school forever.
Right, because they are adults. I mean, I guess they could because they already are adults.
It's like
so they're not going to get older.
Show, right?
What?
It's like a 10-season show.
Yeah, it might. I like I said, I think I stopped around like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But like all the high school shit is pretty solid. And like the first couple of their adulthood is pretty solid. And then it just gets kind of like... There's too many new. It's like The Walking Dead. There were just too many. I think it's why people characters
moved away from the 22 episode hour-long format because you kind of just start to meander with the story, and throw wrenches for no reason.
It meanders, but I would say it tells a pretty good story in all those seasons. You're gonna see some crazy shit happen, man. Yeah. It's gonna affect you. There's an episode that I mean, it's especially when it came out. It's a big fucking episode, dude. I can't wait for you to see it. It's in season 3.
Yeah.
I'm interested. You do.
I am interested to see more.
Yeah.
I'm into the characters and storylines, even though they make annoying decisions sometimes, and I'm like, why'd you do that?
Yeah. High school, you gotta remember.
They're all stupid high schoolers.
In 11th grade.
Kaylee told me that.
I do dumb things now.
Can you guess what her favorite relationship was? She told me who
Your favorite relationship
ended
in the
up getting
series?
together, and she told me which one was her favorite.
Is it Haley and Lucas or Haley and Nathan? Yeah,
Haley and Nathan.
They make a great couple, and they go through some struggles even when they're like married. And
I
shit.
didn't see it at first because obviously Nathan's an asshole in the beginning.
He is an
He's
asshole.
like the rich kid son.
But he's a really likable character as it goes on.
They really do make the whole thing of like Haley can change him. She did fix him. He was an I can fix him, and she fixed him.
Wait till you keep seeing where it goes. Oh,
Yeah.
It's wild. Oh, it gets wild, man. Oh, boy. You might know who people end up with, but it's how we get there and what comes about.
Right.
Who?
What comes about?
Who? There's this babysitter arc in like the later
The
seasons.
babysitter arc.
Oh, it's fucking. You
Does Dan
you
Scott-
don't see it coming. It goes south real quick.
Does Dan Scott screw the babysitter?
You could say that. But I'm not gonna tell you.
Very horny man. He
Nah, he
hits
doesn't
on
fuck
every
it.
woman.
He doesn't fuck the babysitter.
He's a very creepy vibe in the first season.
I need you to close your eyes and close your ears, and then hum. Yeah. Okay. You're good. Good shit. Yeah. Oof. Anything else you wanted to say? I don't want to like cut you off. I could gab about One Tree Hill, but I didn't know if there was any other things about it you wanted to.
No, I was just glad to
Put out.
see a gab about.
I'm
I mean,
excited.
it's probably meaningless to
I've
most of our
heard that.
audience. 'Cause-
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
But you know,
I knew it would be. I was really hoping I remembered it to be One Tree Hill. I was like, that was certainly when I saw that. I was like, oh, that's the series Chase said he liked to watch.
yeah. When I was.
But I was just like, maybe it was like Hawaii Five-0
yeah,
or something.
sure. Like, it
maybe
could
I
be
remember.
any. Is it the OC? Like, it could be any one of those like early 2000s. No, it is One Tree Hill. That is the one that caught me when I was young. My mom. A lot of these shows I know from my life is because like my mom watched it, and I would watch them with her. And like One Tree Hill came out right in that time. I think I was in like 7th or 8th grade. You're a kid, but you're kind of becoming an adult.
Yeah.
And it just hit. Yeah.
Like it was just like my high school experience.
Dude, every day I walk down with a bridge with a basketball and just dribble. Just dribble. Basketball is life. First season, like basketball is always life in this show, but it's never more as it is in the first season. Like it is fucking everything. That pilot episode where they play basketball at the court
is
at
a
the
huge
end.
theme the first season.
So, I mean, and it's a big theme throughout it, but it becomes less a big deal. It becomes more about the characters.
We even
in
during
there.
some episodes, you're like aware that there's basketball happening, and that's still like the main arc. But it's just
Right,
like we're
basketball
gonna do
happening
like
somewhere right now.
we're gonna like do like some teen drama stuff. We're not gonna reference basketball for like a few episodes straight, but then it'll go back to like we're still in the champion. We still have an undefeated record.
Yeah.
Like okay, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
They've kind of forgotten about basketball a little bit, but
The basketball sort of takes a backseat to
it's
everybody.
more about these teenagers getting together and cheating on each other,
Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
kissing each other, and
And they're all friends, but they're not friends, but they are friends again.
Yeah.
But they stop being friends from time to time, certain ones, but then they get back to being friends again.
right.
It's great. High school.
Sometimes they almost die.
Sometimes they might die. Hard to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you might inspire me to go check a few episodes out when I'm just chilling on the van with nothing to do.
Yeah. And I guess, did we ever explain the Gavin DeGraw?
Gavin, that's the theme song. The
He is
song that Braden
woven
and I sang.
into this series. Gavin DeGraw himself. He has scenes.
He does have scenes. Yep, he's in it.
He plays Gavin DeGraw.
I mean, they're
songs.
in the real world. They're in, like, Pete Wentz isn't just in it playing a different character. He is Pete Wentz from
Right.
Fall Out Boy.
It's our world.
Yeah. It's just in One Tree Hill. Isn't it something? I'm glad you're watching it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And I can't wait to hear more about as you get through more seasons because, it's all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Man, it's all over the place.
I can already tell.
Peyton
we're
has a
in for wild
stalker in
ride.
like season 2 or 3, maybe 4.
Of course she does.
It's fucking nuts. Oh, it's fucking nuts. Cool. Wow.
Yeah, and I hear some characters have tragic fates.
Some do. Some certainly do. You'll see when you'll get
Any
there.
unexpected pairings?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, yes. Mouth gets a pairing that's very
Mouth
like
gets a pairing.
Way a little more like season 3. It's in like not with a girl that you'd think would be a pairing for Mouth, because also like Sophia Bush, I was into her too when I was a kid. The girl that Mouth ends up,
It's like that equivalent.
in terms of like looks and prettiness. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is she a new character?
Maybe even prettier. She only gets introduced, and she's a deep character too. Wait till you get to her. But I don't want to get too much into it. But that's what I mean. Like that's one that's like, wow, Mouth gets with her. Who's the? Oh, what the fuck? Like, they all have nicknames. What's the black dude's name? Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Lip. Is that it? No, Mouth. Skills. Skills gets a pairing.
He gets a bigger. He
definitely becomes more of a. Skills is a main character by the end. Like he's in the theme song, I think, in the later seasons. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, we'll cut it here. We'll cut it here. I think we are gonna we're gonna go watch the In the Dark movie that I have picked out for us, and we'll come back and talk about that. So we'll be right back, shitters.
See you later.
Freeze, sucker! Get your hands up and turn slowly. I'm warning you. In 1983, I was the starting pitcher in the Little League World Series. I struck out 16 Taiwanese All-Stars. To this day, the people of Asia call me Sung Luk Dong, which means big black man, pretending to be 12.
My name's Carbone, which means skinny white boy with the gun. Good work, Song Lak Dong.
All right, we watched Kangaroo Jack.
Yep, that was the In the Dark segment.
The In the Dark movie.
I guessed it on my second try after the opening credits.
Yeah.
I got the Australian theme, and I was thinking, what are Australian movies? The only one I could think of was Kangaroo Jack, so that's the legacy Australia has.
What was your first guess again?
What was my first guess?
Yeah. You said something, and then you said Kangaroo Jack.
I don't remember.
I don't remember
my first
either.
guess was.
That movie just swept you away for an hour and a half.
Did,
Took
yeah.
you out of touch. What did you think of Kangaroo Jack?
Oh, I probably haven't seen the whole thing in over 10 years, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while for me
About
as
exactly how I remember. I used to watch it a lot when I was a kid.
It was my sick movie day movie.
Yeah.
That and Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. And
I quote it often in my typical real life.
And you mentioned before that this movie has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 9%.
I did. I saw that for the first time probably in the past couple days.
And I wouldn't say it's a 9% movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. I just think it's probably goes back into the marketing that they're not really sure who the movie's for.
Yeah.
Because it
goes places.
The marketing definitely made it geared towards kids, which is why I think I sought it out as a young kid.
Me too.
Because I saw the trailer, and the trailer features
a talking
kangaroo. So you assume that the movie is about a talking kangaroo. Is the movie about a talking kangaroo?
No.
No, not at all.
Just one scene where the kangaroo talks when the guy's having a hallucination dream.
Yep, that's the scene that they used in the one scene in the movie where the kangaroo talks, where he's not actually talking. It's a hallucination.
Yep.
They use that shot as the trailer.
You know, yeah, they do. They do. It's
so it makes you totally think that this movie's different from what it actually is, which is a mobster movie where the main guy, Charlie, played by, let me look up his name, Jerry O'Connell. Haven't seen him in many other things recently.
He pops up every once in a while, but
yeah. Charlie has to go to Australia to run $50,000 in cold hard cash to this guy for a reason he's not sure of. He just has to make it up to his mob boss stepfather.
Yeah, they fucked up something.
They fucked up one of his operations.
At the beginning of the movie. Yeah, and it got his whole place shut down, so they were like, this is how you can redeem yourself.
Yeah, so Charlie, played by Jerry O'Connell, and Lewis, played by Anthony Anderson, who's the quintessential funny fat black guy.
Yep.
trope.
A big trope back in those early 2000s.
Big trope back in the
Still
days.
to this day. I mean, you still see it.
They've
but
cooled off on it a little
he
bit.
was one of my favorites of the time. Like
He was- that was
this
like-
is the first thing I ever saw him in. So like he's gone on to do lots of other shit.
Yeah, Anthony Anderson has
Yeah.
played in a lot of those similar roles.
So sure, he's
the funny
that same
friend.
guy in Transformers. Honestly,
Exact character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays the same character in every one, and
Yeah.
it works because that
he plays it well,
that archetype was high in demand,
especially
back
when
in
I was a kid.
2003.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was still funny to me now. Like what? Because he was funny then. He was still funny to me now.
Yeah, would you say nostalgia's played any part in your enjoyment of this?
Yeah, I'd say so. If I'd never seen this movie before and I saw it like today for the first time,
Like Swag?
yeah, I'd
Or
probably,
Kaylee?
Yeah, I'd probably be like, okay, that was that's the thing. It's not a movie you can take too seriously.
No.
So when I see a 9%, I'm like, well, like, how serious did you go into this movie in the first place?
It's
to give it a 9.
It's not. The target audience is not really known because
No.
there's a lot of things that you would think makes it a kids movie,
Mm-hmm.
like the talking kangaroo bit. The marketing made it seem like
There's
a kids
fart
movie.
jokes.
There's fart
poop
jokes,
jokes.
poop jokes, slightly racist jokes that aren't like
Yeah,
up to snuff with today's comedy standards.
sure.
But then there's also a lot of like adult-centered themes.
Sure,
Like
yeah.
it's a mobster-centric movie.
Yep. He's
They're
sending-
running money for the mob.
To essentially get themselves killed.
Yeah. Who,
Yeah.
by the way, is run by Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Biggest star in this.
Definitely. Well, I don't know at the time. I mean, Charlie O'Connell was pretty. Or Charlie O'Connell. Jeez.
Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell was pretty popular at the
Yeah,
time.
he was in. Yeah, he was in a lot of things. They're all early
Yeah.
2000s faces.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Frankie, the guy that played Frankie, went on to be in Man of Steel.
Oh
as,
yeah.
as
Who is he?
Zod. Yeah, what is his
Michael
name?
Shannon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's in lots of shit now. And
Yeah, Michael Shannon's one of the antagonists.
Yeah.
The mobster goon that goes after
he's
Charlie.
Charlie's stepbrother.
Yeah.
He's
Christopher Walken's
Christopher
son.
Walken's son. Yeah.
Who is Charlie's stepdad.
Yeah, a lot of
And-
characters. A lot of characters and storylines you kind of got to follow.
Yeah. They meet up with Jessie, played by Estella Warren.
Yep.
Which I had also seen. She's also one of those early 2000s faces that I recognized in movies.
Yeah.
And I remember the other movie I saw her in was the Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
She was
She is in that.
the
Talking animals, this woman.
she plays like the attractive woman in a lot of shows or movies
Yeah.
where it's like she's like the woman that they cast for like.
We need a pretty woman, and you're a pretty woman, so
Yeah.
you're in it. Yeah, definitely.
I do remember the funny thing about the Planet of the Apes one though is that it seemed like she was cast as like the love interest for Mark Wahlberg, but
Mm-hmm.
in actuality it was the ape woman
Yeah.
that he fell in love with.
Right. I thought that's what I remember.
That was
too.
one of the things people found weird about that movie.
Yeah.
Is that Mark Wahlberg has like a relationship with this ape woman.
Yeah,
And not the
and not the
attractive
beautiful woman.
human
Maybe
woman.
it's because even that movie, it's better than we give it credit for because it's saying that beauty is not. It's
in
what's
the eye of the
inside.
beholder.
It's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah. And he wanted to fuck that monkey.
Yeah. Monkey style.
Yeah.
But she's a fun character. You didn't really like her in this movie.
I don't think she's a very good actress. I
Yeah.
thought she was kind of wooden
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
I think they cast her as just like the love interest. I
Yeah.
don't think there's much more to her character. A lot of the scenes were trying to sex her up. They had like
Sure, yeah. I mean, that bath scene, I think,
Yeah.
especially when I was a kid and I saw this, because I think it came out around when I was in like the 6th grade. So it was just a very neither of them. Honestly, it's Jerry O'Connell who's more like he takes his shirt off. You see like his abs and like
Yeah.
he got fit for that role. She's just kind of in her t-shirt. But I think I remembered it as like, ooh, this
Yeah.
girl's like half naked, but she's
like,
really not at all.
She's like bathing at one point
Yeah.
in like a spring, like a natural spring, and
Yeah.
it's still in like a
not a
tank
scene
top.
for a kids movie though.
No,
right?
But that's the thing. It's like, is this for kids then? Because then they have like boob jokes and like sexy.
He grabs
scenes.
her boobs because he thinks she's a mirage at one point in the movie. Yeah,
And that was a hilarious scene I just couldn't get enough of
Right,
when I was
right.
8 years old.
yeah, totally.
Again, watching this movie because both me and my parents assumed that this was a children's movie.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to go back in time and see if there was any marketing because, like, we saw the marketing because we were kids watching kids channels, watching kids programming, and saw those ads. I wonder if, like, on other channels, like, there was more like this is an adult movie too.
I remember.
Type of
I don't
ad.
know if it was the Australians, Mr. Sunday Movies that we watched, or what. One of the like YouTuber reviews that I watch covered Kangaroo Jack and mentioned how the marketing was deceiving. It made people think that it was for kids.
As far as I know, that's always what I thought, even as a kid.
Yeah, I don't think there was any marketing showing that it was actually a movie about the mob.
Yeah, probably not. Maybe just a little bit. I remember the marketing had, because like the tagline of the movie was like, they put the money in the jacket on the kangaroo. They say that a couple times in the movie.
Yeah, so I guess the whole reason why they're going after this Kangaroo Jack, is because they have to go to Australia to drop off this $50K to another mobster in Australia, and they hit a kangaroo on the way there. It's just a very random scene, and then they end up the Lewis character ends up messing with the kangaroo a lot. Thinks it's funny because he kind of looks like one of the guys they know back home, Jackie Longlegs, and so they put their sunglasses on this, what they assume is a dead kangaroo, and Lewis's jacket.
Yeah, they're trying to do like a Weekend at Bernie's with the kangaroo.
Yeah, because they think it's funny. You know, it doesn't have to make a lot of sense because you don't take this movie that seriously. So, like, of course they're just gonna like
mess with a dead kangaroo.
Dead kangaroo when they're on an important mission because it's a 2003 comedy.
Yeah,
and the plot needs to happen, and the plot is about this kangaroo.
We gotta get the jacket on the kangaroo.
Not being dead. Still wearing the jacket with the money inside. We find out later, and then he runs off.
Great pockets in that hoodie.
Great pockets.
Great pockets.
One of those early 2000s baggy hoodies.
Holy
with the baggy
fuck, yeah.
pockets.
Things are always falling out of my pockets like that. Just normal speed. That fucking kangaroo's hopping around at like car speed.
It's got candy in that jacket.
Candy.
I remember the candy vividly from this movie.
They cut a lot of times to the kangaroo. Like, that's the part that was for like the kids. Like, oh yeah, by the way, here's the kangaroo.
Yeah, they just cut to the kangaroo randomly.
Candy.
Just random funny scenes that don't really. They're just supposed to be funny scenes.
Yeah.
And show what the kangaroo's up to. They kind of anthropomorphize the kangaroo a little bit, but it's still a regular kangaroo.
There are times where
it's a CGI kangaroo.
It's a CGI kangaroo. There are times though where it is a real kangaroo.
Yeah,
they kind of go back and forth with like a real kangaroo and the CGI.
They used real animals in this.
It's not bad CGI, especially for early 2003. Like his
Swag
eyes are a little like it takes you out of it.
Very similar to like Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
CGI live action Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
like Jack looked just like the live action animated Scooby Doo.
And the scenery in Australia kind of makes that CG look even better, I think. I don't know, the way it's like lit, the way that like the atmosphere of the Australian Outback.
I do like the way the movie looks once they get to Australia.
Yeah.
Because they start off in Brooklyn.
And it's very Brooklyn.
It's very Brooklyn,
it's Brooklyn as fuck. It's like it's like a overcast day in Brooklyn.
I do like that Australia is nothing but a background to this movie, though. Like, it's Australia-centric, but all the main characters are American. Even Jessie, the girl that they meet there. She lives there. They meet her in Australia, but she's not Australian. She's an American.
She's an American that decided to stay there. Yeah, you're right.
Like,
but there are a lot of side Australian characters. You certainly meet.
It's definitely an American movie that just uses Australia as a backdrop.
Yeah, because
they need the plots around a kangaroo.
Yeah, and if you think back to the early 2000s, Australia was very popular in America.
Oh yeah.
We loved Australia here.
Still do.
We still do, but like, man, Crocodile Hunter was big at that point in time.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the way everybody was doing in Australia.
Steve Irwin had captured our hearts.
Yeah. This came at a good time. Just a couple years before the man died, sadly.
Sure did. When did he die? Was it
2006.
2006.
I was a freshman in high school, yeah.
Yeah.
I cried in the shower. I'll never forget.
I cried too.
He was my idol. But this movie, even when I saw it as a kid, it didn't, and I saw that it wasn't the movie. Like, I remember being a little put off by it not being the movie I thought it was. Yeah. But I still ended up liking it, and I still ended up watching it.
It's an entertaining, dumb movie.
It's fun enough. It is a dumb, like I said, it was my sick day from school movie.
I guess I watched it repeatedly.
Yeah.
So there's clearly something that captured my heart. I would say it's the perfect movie for, like, middle school.
Yeah.
Middle school children.
Yeah.
With, like, that kind of humor, that kind of age range.
And it just sticks with you. Because, like, I was still laughing at the jokes today because they, like, nostalgically they were funny to me as a kid.
Right.
It wasn't like when we watched Flubber and I was like, this movie fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I still enjoy Kangaroo Jack. I'd watch it again.
It's timeless.
Show Sora someday. It's I don't know if it's timeless, but it is time. There are some phrases and words they drop.
You're just like, oh yeah, this was made in 2003.
Wow. Yeah, they wouldn't say that now. There's
That last one.
I enjoyed the poop jokes, because there's a part where Charlie goes to the bathroom on the airplane.
Oh yeah, that
hits
was
it
a
off
good
with
one.
a girl on his way there, and then that's when Anthony Anderson finds the money, so
Yeah.
he runs into the bathroom, and they're talking like, "Look at it, it's so beautiful, it's green," and there's just people over here. Typical in these kind of movies type of
Oh,
jokes.
yeah.
But I thought it was still funny. Like, even though I've seen this bit before, I don't know, something about talking about poop. Because they could have made it all a gay thing. It
Not
could have
even
been two guys in the bathroom, and they could have made it all a gay joke.
Oh, and there are some no homo jokes.
There
in
are
this.
a couple no homo jokes.
Yeah.
But
Also popular in
Yeah.
the early 2000s.
oh yeah.
People were obsessed with making gay jokes, but not coming across as gay. That was the height of comedy.
And I think it's still done in a tasteful way too. I think it kind of opened the door. I think Kangaroo Jack opened the door for allowing us to say things like "no homo," and it be
You
fine.
think it was that progressive?
Yeah.
It brought us that.
I do, yeah. You didn't get that vibe?
propelled LGBT
Yeah.
rights forward.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
how like Knuckles the Echidna is like a fucking trans symbol?
No.
He is. But I
Explain.
think it should be. I can't. I just know because I've been to like pride parades and shit. They've turned Knuckles into like some sort of. I don't know if it's trans. Please don't come at me. I think it's trans. I think it's a transgender symbol.
Trans icon.
Yeah, or something like that. And I think it should be Kangaroo Jack. I think they should use Kangaroo Jack instead.
We should
Push for that.
push for that.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe
Hashtag Kangaroo Jack for the.
get like a newsletter together or something.
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy, get on that. We want to start a newsletter at some point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jimmy, pull that up.
Jimmy, pull that up and print it out. So, I mean, that's just one of my thoughts. I don't know if I actually believe that, but it was funny to talk about with you.
Oh, it sure
Because
is.
there's like 3 or 4 no homo gay jokes.
Yeah.
At least.
About the average, I would say, at the time for.
But they're not done. The R word drop is kind of, whoa.
That was out
like
of
the
nowhere,
gay jokes aren't like, you don't feel like they're in bad taste.
Yeah.
But when he said the R word,
That was in bad taste.
I
What
was
was
like,
the villain saying?
it was
that?
the villain saying it, and it wasn't like it just now took me out a little. I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
Like
so that's the first time we heard it in the movie.
Sure, yeah. Like this is a movie that treads being a kid's movie, an adult movie, and then all of a sudden it drops the R word.
Yeah.
So that's something.
It was just like an insult.
Yeah, just a real quick.
Like, you stupid R words.
Yeah.
How
Very-
could you beat me?
very
yeah, It was
strange.
at the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
It
Did
was
not
just
need
out
to
of
be
nowhere.
said.
Yeah.
But they put it in there. And it just shows like how the word was in 2003. I mean,
Yeah.
I've said it before. I mean, I'm not saying it now
No.
here on the
Just
air.
we've evolved.
But I didn't laugh when it came up today in the movie. I actually almost turned the movie off and shook my head
Yeah.
aggressively. I was like, don't say that.
Because we don't stand for that anymore.
Not anymore.
But yeah, it was still ahead of its time.
Certainly. If there's anything we can take away from Kangaroo Jack, it was
Yeah.
ahead of its time. What else did you like?
I mentioned one of the vivid things I remember about this movie is the candy that Lewis has in its pockets. It doesn't play into the plot at all. It just kind of like serves as a few comedic scenes when they cut to Kangaroo Jack because he digs into the pockets and finds these candies, like this licorice and
Yeah.
stuff. And he gets one of those old fireballs.
Yeah,
Not
that kind of propels the plot.
Yeah, not Fireball whiskey. The Fireball, like the ball that was a candy that was hot. That was just a red ball that if you put in your mouth, it
Can you
burned
not get that anymore? Is that not
I
a
haven't
candy?
seen them anywhere anymore.
I don't buy candy
But
like that.
I remember getting one of those after I watched this movie because it looked so good to me. And they are not good.
No.
They suck.
I mean,
it's just hot candy.
yeah. I mean, I
It's
don't think
not
this
sweet.
movie was really trying to. In both scenarios where somebody eats one of those candies, they're like,
Well, that was like I remember that was like the appeal for them back then, and it was like a tough guy food. You know, it was like a tough guy candy. Like only
if you
tough
know
people
Braden the
can eat
Brad
these
Nielser,
candies.
he's a tough guy. He
Yeah.
likes to represent being
And it just
tough.
doesn't taste. It's just like like it's meant to burn you.
Yeah.
It's not. You're not meant to enjoy it.
No.
It was just. I can't. It just.
And it's kind of big. Like the
just
one they
made it
have
this-
is
yeah.
like oddly humongous.
It's like an everlasting jawbreaker.
But you're burning your mouth.
It's basically just a hot jawbreaker.
Makes sense if they're not around why they would get rid of that. It just burns your mouth.
I don't
for
think
maybe
anyone
15
genuinely
minutes.
enjoyed them. I think it was just a challenge.
Yeah.
Similar to like that hot chip that people eat.
Yeah. That fucking kills people.
Yeah, it makes people throw up. Didn't Sam eat that?
Somebody we know has done it.
Someone, I think it was Sam, who said that him and Kai tried it.
Maybe.
Possibly.
They're coming here at some point. We can ask them.
Yeah, I would have to ask them for that because I think he said that they puked. It made them throw up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like that hot.
So no, I, as a person who doesn't like hot things, I wouldn't eat one of these fireballs. But this movie inspired you to go out and get a fireball.
It
I mean, the fireball, like I said, it propels the plot.
Yeah.
The final battle takes place. Well, the final chase for Jackie Legs takes place because he eats a fireball and just fucking loses his shit, and then they all find him and they all have to chase him to get the money back.
Yeah.
We're all over the place with explaining the plot, but I mean, it's just a movie that, like, we told you what happened. They put the money in the kangaroo ran away.
Yeah.
The whole movie is just hijinks to
Get the kangaroo.
Until finally,
It's just comedy scenes up until
comedy
that point.
scenes, possibly sexual, sensual scenes.
Yeah. Not a lot of dramatic scenes.
No.
There's at one point at the very end where they take themselves a little bit seriously with like the friendship arc between Lewis and Charlie.
Yeah, they're boys.
Because like the whole thing is the reason why Lewis and Charlie are friends is because way back when they were kids, Lewis rescued Charlie from drowning in the ocean because he went to go long to catch a football in the ocean and nearly drowned, and Lewis saved him. So Charlie feels indebted to Lewis for these 20 years of their friendship because he saved his life when they were children.
Yes.
And so even though Lewis tends to get Charlie in trouble a lot, like it was Lewis's idea to put his jacket with the money on the kangaroo.
Yes.
Where the kangaroo.
I mean, they make it very apparent. Charlie tells stories throughout the movie where it's like, Lewis, you get me into a lot of fucking bullshit trouble.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
And that comes up with,
they're screaming at each
their
other the whole
dynamics.
movie.
Yeah.
It's a loud movie. They're just yelling a lot.
Oh yeah, that was also early 2003 comedy.
Yeah,
it's funny if we're shouting and angry with each other.
Yeah.
And we do stupid things.
Yeah.
To propel the plot forward.
But the friendship arc, it wraps up kind of like you were getting at before I.
Right. At the very end is when they kind of get serious, like you can tell, because like the music gets serious and stuff, and they like pan into like the two of them looking out across from each other. And yeah, because at the end of the movie, Charlie saves Lewis's life, and so Lewis is like, "You don't need me anymore because you paid it forward."
Yeah.
And then you're like, "Bro, I've needed you every day of my life, bro. I love you, bro."
Every story worth telling always starts with Lewis and I.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh shit.
You don't drag me down. You complete me.
It's a nice little scene.
It was.
Yeah.
Power of friendship.
Power of friendship. Yeah, there are a couple.
It's just two boys and this hot chick that they meet rolling through the Australian Outback trying to find this kangaroo, getting into all kinds of messed up hijinks.
Yeah. They crashed a plane at one
they
point. They crashed their cars a couple times.
Yeah, they get into like this crop duster plane to try and find the kangaroo at one point, and then end up accidentally shooting the pilot with a tranquilizer.
So he goes down. I like that scene. That scene's still
That was funny. I had to look up who the pilot was because he looks a lot like the guy who plays Santa Claus in the "I Think You Should Leave" sketch.
Okay.
Not the same guy, though.
Not the same guy.
Just looks similar. But they do even make a joke where he's like,
calls him Santa.
We gotta wait for Santa Claus here. So I'm like, okay, it was an old white guy with a white beard.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
Fun little jab. I like the part where he has the shotgun, he's aiming at the mobster guy, and he's like, what do you do with your life, Charlie, that makes you so brave? Anthony Anderson's like, oh, definitely don't tell him that. Just cocks. He's like, I'm a hairdresser. It's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
He, because like throughout the movie, you get this kind of sense that like he's a pussy in the eyes of his family because he's a hairdresser.
Yeah, I knew him being a hairdresser. So Charlie, the main character, is a hairdresser. And I knew him being a hairdresser would come into the plot at some point.
Yeah.
But I forgot how they incorporated that.
Yeah.
But they just incorporated it to explain that he always carries scissors on him, like hair clipping scissors on him. And they use those scissors to get out of their bindings at the one point when they're captured by the mobsters.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there you go, full circle.
Now, everything kind of gets a payoff. I wouldn't say it's like the craziest.
It's not the
payoff,
peak of writing.
But everything, they wrap everything up. They use every element they have, and yeah, it works for
Very
what this movie
straightforward
is.
2003
an
comedy.
Half,
yeah,
Yeah.
You get what you get.
You get what you get.
And it's a breezy hour and a half. Like you don't. I don't know. I don't feel like
casually watched it.
Yeah, I don't feel like the movie dragged at all. Like it's not the most entertaining thing in the world to me anymore. But it's not like I wasn't bored during scenes.
Yeah. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It ends right when it needs to.
It's pretty breezy.
There's like a couple montages that don't even need to be a montage.
Yeah.
There's like a montage where they're learning to use the boas.
Yeah.
And it's just them learning how. Like it doesn't go to anything else. It's just like a funny sketch of like Charlie learning how to use the boa.
Yep. They're painted up like Aboriginals.
Yep. Yeah. They rub shit all over their skin to like get off the scent so they can sneak up on the kangaroo. Which leads to the bathing scene.
So there we go. We get that Australian culture as interpreted by Americans.
Oh yeah, there was the part where they go to the bar and she's just like, "Phone's down by the dunny," and he's just like, "What's that?" And she just keeps saying Australia things.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "I'm just gonna check by the bathroom."
Which I think a dunny is the bathroom.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything she was saying was the bathroom.
But it's all the Australian slang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't understand.
She knew
them.
she was talking to Americans, but was just like, "I'm using only the words I know."
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
Was that your Australian
That's my
accent?
Australian accent. You like? Crikey.
Sounds kind of like Matthew McConaughey.
I can do a better one, actually. I used to, when I was a kid, because Thiever was so popular, I had a video camera when I was a kid, and we would record, and I would pretend to be out in like the woods of Kersey and do we could probably find them. A little me.
Oh, she's a beauty.
She's a beauty.
She's beauty.
Oh, look at this one, mate. I would just my voice is, because you got to remember I'm 10 in this scenario, so if we watch those videos, it's a very, my voice got deep when I was like 14, but before that, very girly.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Crikey. Oh, crikey.
Oh, crikey, mate! Look at these bugs in the Cozy Outback. Honestly, I think I'm better at it when I make my voice like this.
Oh yeah, look at that beauty there.
You beauty. I was just playing Ty the Tasmanian Tiger a few months back, and whenever you get like certain special eggs that you collect, he goes, "You beauty." Very Australian game as well from the time. Love it. Play it sometimes.
That's what we view Australians.
Yep.
That's how we view them.
Crikey.
Shrimp on the barbie.
Shrimp on the barbie. And this movie does too.
Yeah.
Every Australian character is
like I said, this is the only movie I can think of when I think of Australia.
Yeah. It's thanks
I know there's other movies that are centered around Australia, but this is the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's its legacy.
Yeah, Crocodile Dundee and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's about it. There's a sequel actually to Kangaroo Jack. I don't know if you've ever seen the sequel.
No.
It's a cartoon.
I don't think anyone else has
It's
either.
an animated. They used to play it on Cartoon Network a lot. So I have seen
I do
it.
vaguely remember it being turned into a cartoon.
Yeah.
They tried to actually pivot towards marketing towards kids.
Yeah. I remember it being all right. I don't remember too much about it. But then at that point I was like, oh, this is too kid-like. I liked it for what it was.
And yeah, again, who is this for?
No idea.
Who are the big Kangaroo Jack stans out there that are going to watch the cartoon?
They were just trying to capitalize on the popularity of Australia, I'd say.
Yeah.
When they put this out.
This was a big Australia boom in America.
But it worked for me. I mean, I would say if somebody were to ask, Chase, are you a fan of the Kangaroo Jack movie? I would say yes.
I would agree.
And I always will be.
I would watch it again.
I would too. And I probably will.
Yeah.
Call Free Willy. Let Willy set you free. Always one of my favorite lines.
That's a good one.
There's just a lot of lines from this movie that I think I use typically. Even when I have that dun 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 dun.
Is that from Snoop Dogg?
It is. It's from.
Yeah.
It's from. I don't know if it's the exact tune, but they're exactly the same.
It's very similar.
I don't
to
know if they
Snoop
bought
Dogg-esque
the rights
song.
to use that.
They play that song at least 10 times in the movie.
Well, I heard that song. I heard Kangaroo Jack's version first. So when I hear the Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre song, I think Kangaroo Jack.
I did like the soundtrack for how corny it was. Just
sure.
like how, like when
the
scene where like Jesse's introduced, where they think she's a mirage. The song's
Sexy.
Sexy lady, hot, sexy lady. So on the nose of like what they're trying to do with her character.
I mean, this movie definitely inspired a lot of music that I like. I think I know. I come from a land down under.
Right, the
because of this movie.
The one Australian song that they're gonna, of course, play.
Yeah. I know it
living in the
because
land
of
down
this movie.
under.
And then the hip Hop, the hippie, the gangster's delight is the name of that song, and I know it because of this movie. I sought these songs out.
It's like us as Peace Corps volunteers playing "The Rains in Africa," the one song about Africa everyone knows. You play the one song about Australia everyone knows.
Yeah. And I think that's where it worked for a kid.
You like Outback Steakhouse?
I do like Outback Steakhouse.
I do too.
I love Outback Steakhouse.
Do you like it better than Texas Roadhouse?
Probably, honestly. I don't go to Texas Roadhouse very often.
I'd rate them about equal in terms of quality.
They both have kind of the same atmosphere when you're like in the restaurant.
I honestly get them mixed up sometimes. Sometimes I think a Texas Roadhouse is an Outback Steakhouse.
Texas
and vice
Roadhouse
versa.
has really good biscuits.
Yes.
Yeah, where I don't think Outback Steakhouse is known for their biscuits.
No, they're known for their steaks.
Yeah. I went there on one of my birthdays because I loved Outback Steakhouse so much. Yeah.
You ever get the loaded potatoes?
When I was 15, probably.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been to an Outback Steakhouse.
I went to one
I've seen Kangaroo Jack more recently than I've been to a Outback Steakhouse.
That's crazy.
I would say. Yeah.
When was the last time you were at a Red Lobster? R.I.P.
A Red Lobster? I was just at a Red Lobster Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Miranda and I went to Red Lobster.
I think they're still actively going under.
Are they really?
Yeah.
I don't know. The one in Du Bois is still there.
Another great biscuit chain we're going to lose.
Oh, man. As long as they still sell their biscuits so you can buy them, I'll be happy. But it'll be sad to lose those things. But with that being said, I think that wraps up our Kangaroo Jack talk.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say really about the movie. I'm trying to think if there's any other important points that we missed.
No, I don't know.
Important commentary to give on this movie.
I just thought it would be a fun one to talk about. What I like about the In the Dark section is I like to give things that don't get a lot of light. A little bit of light, and I think Kangaroo Jack.
When are you going to hear about Kangaroo Jack again?
Rare. The fact that you told me you watched a guy talk about the marketing of Kangaroo Jack, I was like, oh wow, somebody else actually did talk about Kangaroo Jack.
Yeah, I think people still. I think it's still in the consciousness of America. It's not a forgotten movie.
No, it's not like you guessed it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And Swag knew it.
Guess.
He hadn't seen it, but he knew the movie.
Yeah.
It's one of my childhood favorites, and that's what I'm doing with these In the Dark section. Next time we do it, though, it's going to be your pick.
Watch it with your middle school children.
Watch it with your middle school children. Watch it with your middle school friends and see if you still enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'd say that. It's quick, breezy, likable characters, over-the-top acting, Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Jackie Legs.
I got to rethink of what my In the Dark segment's going to be now.
You got time.
Yeah. I have a few on the roster that I've been wanting to get at.
Yeah.
I just got to choose between them.
Well, honestly, with this being done, I want to talk about a little bit before we leave the possibility. I think we're at a good place to finally say. I say it almost every episode anymore, but I think the next episode will be our High School Musical episode. I think we can line that up. We'll talk about that a little after the show, but I think we can make that possible to get the High School Musical 2-1 in with Amber.
Kaylee's been wanting to mark that on her calendar.
I know, and I think we can get it, but we'll talk after the podcast.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I got nothing else to say for today's episode. So we'll roll off.
Yeah.
So remember to spread the word on the podcast.
Yeah.
Follow us everywhere. All that snazzy shit.
We'll sign off with the.
Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the shit bugs bite. Bum 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 and Brayden, tell the shitters how you feel about them before we go.
How do I feel? I say I.
Bum 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 bum.
I love you, shitters.
He does love you. Good night.